You're live, apparently. Hey!
Hello.
Howdy, everyone. Welcome. I might as well wait till more people come in before I do like the whole speechy stuff. But howdy, everyone. Hope you are all doing well. Let me just post this, and then I can go over.
I just did a weird smile and looked like the Cat in the Hat.
Oh, sorry, I thought the Cheshire Cat. Stupid.
Stupid.
I should probably put. Oh no, I'm not going to put the website on actually because I haven't finished it. I got a whole lot to do on the website. Hi, I made it on time, says Nick J. Howdy. We've only just started and we have 3 whole hours of this live stream, so it's absolutely okay. And Anne says howdy. Let me just posted videos. Hope you're all well. When we get some more people in, I'll do all of like the speech stuff just so that we can. Sybil says hello. Howdy, Sybil. It's been a while since we've seen you, I'm pretty sure. Hope you're doing great. Live right.
And Anne says, congratulations again, Matt.
Thank you very much. It's Katie as well, but thank you very much. Really appreciate it, and I really appreciate all the support from every single one of you. It means a hell of a lot, and that is why we are here with this 3K subscriber special, and we will do giveaways. Yes. Sybil says, congrats, guys. Thank you very much. Ashtown Love says, hi, Matt. Congratulations. Thank you very much as well. Let me just do one more thing, and then you will have my undivided attention.
And Anne says, oh yeah, both of you.
yeah.
It is mainly him though, to be fair.
Mainly,
Missy B says, hi Matt and Katie. Hello, Missy B.
Hi, Missy B. How's it going?
And
Priyal says, congratulations. Thank you very much. Couldn't have done it without you all. If we could just like the live stream, just so it gets pushed out a little bit more and we can get as many people in this stream as possible, because it's going to be hopefully a very, very good one, and it's going to be a very, very long one.
A very, very long one.
A very, very long one.
A long one indeed.
The longest one we've done.
The longest of the long.
The longest of the longs. Dave Moody said, well deserved. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. Right, since there's more people in, welcome everyone to this 3,000 subscriber 3-hour special live stream. We really hope it's going to be as fun as possible. The way that we're going to do this, because obviously I know a lot of people will be excited for the giveaway. We had a hell of a lot of entrants, so that's really exciting and quite, is humbling the word? It was just nice to see so many people engaged. We are going to announce one winner for each prize at the end of the hour. So at the end of each hour, we will do 3 draws, and that will be like one for the coaching, one for the Zoom call link, and one for the Amazon voucher. So we'll do that at the end. So then we'll end off on basically end the stream on the final 3 hours with the final winners. If you are a winner, all of the entrants have been entered as your YouTube names. So if you are a winner, I will put up a community post basically saying this is who won it and this is what you've won. And then just ask you to basically email me, just because there was not really much other way of me getting hold of you, because we can't do a YouTube direct comment. So I suppose I could do a comment, but I'll just do a post. It's just a lot easier. But yeah, so that is how it's going to work. And we are here for 3 hours. And yeah, ask as many questions as you need. Kiati says, congratulations to you guys. Thank you very much, Kiati. Nice to see you here. And Anne says, wow, lots of synonyms for long. Yes, lots. Marco says, congrats. Thank you very much, Marco. Really appreciate that. And yeah, if you do have any questions, fire at will. We will do our best to answer them all. And well, we will answer them all, but we'll do our best to make sure that all of them are answered in the best possible way for you all. Affiliate Jumpstart says, tuning in live for the first time in a while. What's up, y'all? Yeah, howdy. It's nice to see you back here. Hope everything's doing well your side. And hopefully your channel is growing as well. Crimson Music says, hey guys, not sure how long I can stay, but wanted to say thanks for doing the weekly lives and such. I look forward to them every time. Always here in post though. Thank you very much for showing up as often as you can. And it's fine if you've got other stuff to do. Obviously, it will go live afterwards or posted. And if you do have any questions, then you can just put them in the comment section and I will answer them. But thank you very much for showing up consistently and for being excited for our content. Makes it a lot more enjoyable when we have genuine fans and not just sort of viewers, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm a tired boy. Been out all day from like 8:30, 9. When do we leave? About 9. Yeah, and then I literally got in like half an hour ago, and I had to quickly like post this and then put it up. But yeah, ask any questions, or it doesn't have to be LOA stuff if you don't want it to be. It could be like more personal questions. I honestly don't mind. This is just a fun little
Any
3-hour thing.
questions?
I'm super excited.
Oh, put it on live chat.
Ah, yes.
Mm.
I thought, I did that on the
Forget
other one
that
before I
every
deleted it.
time.
All right, let's go back to see if we missed anyone. Sybil, we did. Okay, cool. So we haven't missed anyone. So Priyal says, you guys rock. Just want to ask, everything was okay. My SP went somewhere, but he's back. I just felt my fears came in and we argued today and he said some really hurtful things. What should I do? Okay, so the first thing that I'd recommend doing, there's a couple of things. The first thing is, you say your SP went somewhere, but he's back. I don't know how long, like for. And you said you just felt your fears come in. So the first thing that I'd recommend doing is looking deeper into those fears. Why did you feel those fears? What did those fears say to you about how you see the situation and how you see yourself? And then work on them from a root perspective. If you need more on that, I do have 2 videos based on fear, which are probably worth watching. And the other thing, there isn't necessarily much to do. Obviously, there is like looking back and seeing what could have potentially caused the situation so you can stop it from happening again. But you can just change the way that it either went in your mind by revising, or just kind of look forward, making sure that you're going to work on these fears and then hopefully create a better situation going forward. There isn't necessarily anything that you need to do. It just all depends on how you want to handle this situation. But I think a good thing to ask yourself is if everything is like perfectly the way that I want it to be, how would I handle this situation? Couples have like bickerments, couples have arguments, and couples do sometimes say some mean things to the other that they don't necessarily mean. And you can handle it in a way that your desired self would handle it. Those are a couple of options. Anan says, have you manifested any free food in a while? Actually, yes, today. My entire trip today was completely paid for besides my travel to go there and the swimming trunks that I had to buy, which are bright yellow. There was an option between salmon, green, and bright yellow, and I brought bright yellow, and they were a tiny bit too small. So
Nice.
I look like a bit of a twat, but it was nice. But yeah, actually today I got a like free snacks. I got a free lunch, free everything. So yeah, for me today, not consciously, but you know, I do create the assumptions that I get free stuff. So I guess in a way it is consciously, but I didn't go like, I receive free food. I receive free food. Have you?
I don't know.
Every time we get takeaway, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much every single time. Well, yeah, you buy it, but then also there's always extra in there. So.
Yeah, we're actually getting takeaway today, so technically Katie's getting free food today. So we both get free food today. Sybil says, I haven't been on one of these for so long. I hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, we noticed. I think it was actually in one of the most recent live streams, whatever the last one or one before, we actually pointed out that we hadn't seen you in a while. But yeah, no, we're doing well. I hope you're doing well. I hope it's for a good reason you haven't showed up and not like you were kidnapped or something. Priyal retracted.
Why was that the thing you went to though?
Because why else wouldn't they show up to this amazing live stream?
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. It must have been.
Kidnapped.
Yeah, they could not have. It wouldn't have been a willingness thing.
No.
Priyal retracted her message. Matt Schwartz says, hi, howdy.
Hi.
Hope you're doing all right. Affiliate Jumpstart says, I originally got into the Lawofassumption to manifest an ex back, but I lost interest in her completely and have instead decided to manifest a new SP altogether. Well, good on you, to be fair. I think a lot of people, and it's actually something I do want to make a quick point here. Some people seem to create this attachment for the sake of having an attachment. I've had a couple of people now, because obviously I advocate self-concept quite a lot when I do my coaching, because obviously I do always advocate, even in my videos, that you should be the most important person. And I've had a few people say, I don't even want my SP anymore and I'm scared. And I'm like, why are you scared? It's like, oh, because I don't want them. And it's like, I don't understand, because if you've been doing the work and then all of a sudden you don't want them, and like you're content with the idea of just, I don't want them, I'm not interested, whatever, I don't understand why you're forcing that attachment. Now, there are obviously instances where that could be a case of like you feel like you have them because of the work that you've done. So it feels more natural for you to not feel the need to go after them. Because, for example, I don't affirm that I have Katie. So therefore, I don't, obviously, I understand from that perspective. But I don't understand the fear behind potentially not having feelings for someone, because that just means that you can just do you and not have to worry about it. But yeah, this is an extremely like good thing as well, is being able to say, actually, you know what, I don't want this person, I'm going to manifest someone new. That's perfectly healthy and that's perfectly fine as well. And I think if you're in this situation, you should like embrace it with open arms. You don't have to manifest an ex back just because like I've done it and Kim Velez has done it and like a bunch of other YouTubers have done it, doesn't mean that you have to. If you've lost interest in your person, you are more than welcome to just not use the law for the person. You can use it for a new person or just something else entirely.
I think a lot of people are in love with love.
Yeah.
And they build up this exact like idea. And then when it doesn't fit that exact idea and they no longer like the person, I think they panic then because they're like, but that was love. That was what I was going for. That was the thing that I needed. And then, yeah.
Lily says, hi darlings, or hey darlings. So I manifested my SP away last fall. Thoughts, doubts and fears manifested by him ghosting me, and I also manifested a 3p. I then saw him moved in with, I accidentally skipped down. I really hate it when it does that. I then saw him moved in with, I reacted, manifesting a 3p that I then saw him moved in with. I reacted, but got up and got on my horse again. I stopped checking the 3D in February this year. Been working on myself and affirming for SP when I think of him. Haven't checked his socials or if he still lives with her at all since. I thought I was living in the end and I could feel it was close, but today, for the first time since February, I got this strong feeling that I wanted to check the 3D, and I saw they still live together and that they moved to a new apartment 3 weeks ago. It's gone almost a year and I thought I was doing great and that movement was happening behind the scenes, and then I stupidly checked and now I don't know anymore. I know I should not affirm this, but it feels like I'm missing something. Maybe the smallest thing needs to be shifted, because otherwise I feel there should be some sort of movement by now. At least them not living together anymore. Mind you, I haven't focused on affirming for 3p at all. I haven't focused or affirmed for 3p at all, only for me and SP. I haven't felt discouraged like this for a long time. Now I'm just emoji.
First of all, there is nothing to say that them moving to a new apartment isn't like part of the desired outcome. There's absolutely nothing to say that isn't part of the journey. That isn't part of the what needs to happen in order for it to happen. Like them moving to that apartment could create problems, could create like certain issues or something like that. Like it could just be part of the journey. There's no reason to say that it's not. There's nothing.
I also I don't. You say that you've done well, and I believe you. But in that year, may I ask, or how you said it's been like nearly a year, have you continued to live for you? Now, this doesn't like necessarily mean that you've been doing anything wrong in that sense. I just want to know, because I keep seeing a lot of people say, you know, like it's been a year, I've been doing this, I've been doing that, and everything's going great, and still no movement. And a year doesn't mean that it's not working. Like it doesn't have to come within a year. It could take a year, 2 years, 3 years. Obviously we don't determine the how, but a lot of the time when people say like, you know, it's been this long and I've been focusing on it and I've been doing great, I always wonder if they've been overly focusing on it to like an obsessive state. Not saying you have been obsessed at all. I'm just curious, because a lot of the time, and again, this isn't a reflection on anyone here at all, but a lot of the time, if it's been a year and you have been working on yourself, usually you're kind of just like, yeah, you know, it's chill. You either go one or two ways. You actually become so relaxed and chilled and just knowing that it's done that you don't even really like feel the need to ask about it or feel the need to check whatsoever, or you completely just decide to move on. So I've decided, I was just wondering if what you've spent this past year doing to work on you, just out of curiosity, not to say that you've been doing anything wrong, just curious. But as for the situation, like Katie said, it doesn't necessarily mean that anything, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not working. Just because they've like moved in or whatever doesn't mean that you can't get your thing now. It doesn't mean that there's no movement. They might have moved in and then the stress of the bills or whatever might have caused them to have like clashing, and then he would have been like, oh, this wouldn't have happened if I was with Lily, everything would have been great, and then they could come back to you. Literally, there are like infinite possibilities that will bring them back. I want to also ask why you checked. Obviously you say like you stupidly did it, blah blah blah, but I wanted to know, like, what was it that came over you to check? Because obviously if you needed to check the 3D to sort of see, well, where is he, where is it, what was the driving force behind that? Because obviously that shows that you're in separation of having your desire. You wouldn't, obviously, I know that you could check your partner's thing if you were with them. I never check Katie's profile, but obviously sometimes people like to. I do sometimes, but not really that commonly. But
I do all the time. He's got like funny, goofy videos of him from years ago, and I'm just like sat there like, I watch them like twice a week.
But
sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. But yeah, so some part of you must have been in separation of having your desire. Some part of you must have been dwelling in the old story. And we can't be perfect all the time. By any means do I expect you to be like living in the end 24/7 without a single fuck up. I'm just curious what it was that was so strong of an inspiration for you to check. But none of this means that you did anything wrong. I'm just a couple of things I'm curious on. Nick J says mental diet is good, but I can't help but react sometimes because we are still in contact somewhat, but don't see each other. How do I stay positive? How do I stay positive and affirming and getting back together? It's only 2 weeks. So first off, asking yourself, this is like a really good thing, and I've advocated this a lot in past videos, and I'll continue to advocate it because it's what works really well for me. Ask yourself, if I had my person, how would I react to this situation? So you say it's hard to stay positive. Sorry, let me reread just in case we're still in contact, but we don't see each other. Yeah, but don't see each other. How do I stay positive in affirming and getting back together? So it's just ask yourself, if I was with my person right now, would I be worried about distance? Would I be worried about like, oh, we're spending a little bit of time apart? Would I be worried about like forcing myself to stay positive? How would you handle this? Would you continue to kind of just do your own thing, knowing that they're your partner? Like you'd go out, meet friends, you'd go and have hobbies, you'd go and do all of these kind of things, just knowing that he's kind of there in your back pocket for whenever you go home? Or would you kind of keep noticing, oh, I haven't seen them in ages, and you see what I mean? But the way to stay positive is just knowing that you are putting in the work. The more your focus goes, the more energy flows. So the more that you are doing this for yourself, the more you are creating this reality, and that things will go the way that you want them to go. Fortunately, it's only been 2 weeks, which means you haven't obviously been doing this for an extremely long amount of time. So you are clearly still in the state of like everything up in the air, because I'm sure that after 2 weeks, you'll probably feel a little bit like, I want him right now sort of thing. But yeah, work on you, and that will allow you do things that you enjoy, and that'll allow you to be able to have time apart without worrying whether they're going to be there when you get back. Positivity and stuff is literally just a state of mind. You can just be positive, and the best way that you recommend you do that is to ask yourself, if I had my desire, how would I be acting right now? And then kind of do that. We have had a donation. Thank you very much, Natty J, for your $5 donation. That is extremely nice of you, saying congrats on reaching 3,000. Love you too. Thank you very, very much. We really appreciate that. Too. Yes, we do love you too. And we couldn't have made it to 3K without all of our amazing viewers. So thank you very much for the donation and for the kind words. It is very, very kind of you. There's a cheesy grin. Can I give you a
thumbs up?
No, we're going to put a Katie face.
Katie face.
I can't find where I was now. Chris McQuillan says, hi guys, howdy Chris, I hope you're doing all right. Holly says, how to bring back the spark in my relationship with my partner, increase the love and affection. This one I think is actually quite a simple change. Sorry, I've got some in mind. This is actually something is quite a simple change. So I would simply just create affirmations that imply that is already the case. So you could be like, mine and blah blah blah's relationship is so fun and exciting, or the bond and spark between me and blah 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 is,
we have an amazing dynamic together.
Yeah, we have loads of fun, like we have a fun, loving, passionate relationship. But another thing that you can do, and I did just recommend this to the previous person, how would you, if you did have that spark, how would you be acting? Would you guys still be going out on these fun, amazing dates? Would you be writing each other love letters? What does the spark imply for you? What would the spark need to be? And then you can focus on bringing that in and just, acting as it. A thing that like a lot of couples do, even like non-knowledge of LOA couples do, is they like schedule in date night, or they'll schedule in nights where maybe they try something different in the bedroom. They'll do things that even if it is, yes, scheduling, they'll do things that will bring back that spark by putting in the time and effort for each other. And if they can do that without knowing any knowledge of LOA, you can obviously put the mindset behind it of going, yes, this is what my relationship is like. It is this amazing spark-filled, loving, passionate relationship. And then you can go forward knowing that that's the case, and things will gradually fall into place. But the first thing that I'd recommend is obviously finding out exactly what the spark and a loving, more affectionate relationship would look like for you. B Gifka says, I want to quantum jump into my new story where my SP and I are both on new versions, so live in the end. Is this how my new story will eventually push out? Yes, exactly that. So you create everything by the placing your awareness on things. So where your awareness goes, or where like consciousness goes, is exactly what will end up playing out. Sometimes it's instant, sometimes it's not. That's all obviously everyone's journey. Everyone's journey is different. But yes, it is exactly that. So you are just continuously placing your awareness on your reality being the way that you want it to be. So even if they're a bit hot and cold, you'll be like, oh, that's amazing, like how great that day was. Or if they haven't spoken to you in ages, you're like, oh, like, you know, partner, we're in this loving communication, or whatever the situation is. You will just not place focus on what you're seeing, but instead you'll place focus on what you're wishing to happen and dwell in that state. Impress your subconscious mind, be delusional if you want to call it that. Ask yourself, how would I act if I was this person? I've seen like videos lately of like on TikTok and stuff, now that I'm trying to be more active on it, of people, and I'm pretty sure Ava manifested that, put a did a little video on it, of people literally just being like, I want to live in New York, and then they'll go and buy like a whole new set of outfits and stuff as if they are already like living in New York and this is their New York outfit, and then they'll end up going to New York. Obviously you don't necessarily have to like go out and buy a dummy and feed it every day and pretend it's your person, but it's that whole act of, if you're up here in the right place, then out there you will eventually be too. It can be tricky at first, but the more you do it, the easier it does become. But that's why the affirmations and everything are really great, because they get you into the state by continuously feeding yourself this information of I am this, I have this, I do this, and really impressing it. Eventually it'll become easier for you to then basically fake it till you make it, which is technically faking it is making it. But yeah, you're exactly right there.
That looks so weird.
Nick J says, how long were you and Katie apart until you got back together? So I actually really don't like this question. I get this a hell of a lot. You do say it below, not comparing, lol, but I get this a hell of a lot. And I really don't like it, because a lot of people are comparing it. If you're not comparing, then that's fine. But I've had a couple of clients that have like been like, oh, well, how come you got Katie within X amount of time and I still don't, and I'm following your advice? And it's like, well, I've always been a very resilient person. I've always been like quite, if I ever want something, I do get it. And not everyone is like me. And even if everyone exactly was, doesn't necessarily mean your bridge of incidents will play out the same. So when people do this to compare, it really winds me up. But we weren't we weren't apart that long. One thing that I do want to point out though, my manifestation was not to get Katie back. My manifestation was to be in a loving, committed relationship with Katie. When Katie and I got back together, it wasn't all fucking love and rainbows immediately. We did have some things in place to try and see if we could fix it. And it wasn't actually for a little while after we got back together that things kind of went into a less structured and actually more smooth, loving way. So technically, my manifestation took longer than getting back together, because I went to the end. I didn't just say, I've got Katie back, because if I'd got Katie back, that could have potentially like us got back together, but it would have still been arguing, bickering, not happy, and then break up again. My manifestation was to get back together and be more of a loving relationship, more affectionate, more of these things. And that took probably about, I'd say, a month and a half before like things were like not uncomfortable and stuff. That's from my recollection. Obviously, this was a very long time ago now, but it took a while. But yeah, the usual how long were you and Katie apart question, usually like, but it's fine. Connie Michelle says, what did it feel like for Katie while you're manifesting her back? There you go.
So this is a question I've answered in the lives before. So basically the morning of So we were in absolute no contact at all, and like completely no contact at all. I didn't even know if he was still alive. That's how bad the no contact was, sort of thing. And like the morning of like when we actually met up and spoke about it, I literally just felt a pull and off I went, basically. What's the word that you use when you say don't do anything unless it's inspired action? Literally, I was I had my day planned. I was gonna, go off and do some stuff, and I had all these things, and all I did was get in my car and drove to where I thought he would be. So it was almost kind of, I don't know how to explain it, just like, I know I need to do this, let's go. And off I went, sort of thing. He actually wasn't there, and then I had to drive somewhere else. Then I phoned him, and he didn't answer. And I was like, oh no, this was like, I was 40 minutes from where I lived, and phoned him and he didn't answer. And then he phoned me back, and I was like, oh, I'm by your house. And he was like, I'm not there. And I was like, oh, okay. And then yeah, that's it, sort of thing. There you go. It went from there. But yeah, just a pull, just a also, like, I did have like moments of that before, if that makes sense. What are you pointing at?
Oh, I was pointing at my patchy beard.
Oh, I thought you were pointing at something on my cheek for some reason. I thought you meant there was something on my cheek. But yeah, so like I did have moments of that before, of like, oh, I need to do this. No, oh, I need to do this, sort of thing. And then that was when it was just like, nope, gotta do it right now. But yeah, also if my voice is funny and stuff, I know last time I was on live, I had ear infection, it's chest infection as well, and it's all over the place, and I'm just an infection, so I don't sound right, I keep coughing, and I feel really gross, but I'm on antibiotics, so hopefully it won't be too long, but they're not great.
But yeah, there's your answer. By the way, I feel like I probably came across quite mean, and I really didn't mean it to. The question about how long we were apart for, it wasn't like don't ask me that. It was just, I was just pointing out that I had something that I wanted to say about it. So I don't think I was being mean to you. I do want to quickly point out, though, that we have just received another donation. This one is straight on PayPal on my phone, from Chris McQuillan, saying, thank you for helping us all and giving us the guidance and support. Well done, guys, on 3,000 subscribers. Thank you very much, Chris. We really appreciate that. Like all donations, they mean a hell of a lot that you guys are willing to just go out of your way to help us, or to donate to us, sorry. That actually brings me to my next point, which that reminded me of. One of the donators from a couple of weeks ago pointed out that YouTube does take 30% of the amount that is donated on stream. So I'm going to post in the chat now the donation link. You don't have to donate by any means. Is it like an obligation? But if you wanted to, if you donate via either of these links, it will obviously go straight to me, which means that YouTube won't take a percentage, because obviously that's your money and you don't want that going to a third party person since you're showing up to support us. But thank you very much for the donations. And again, there is no obligation to donate. I just thought I'd put it out there because it just means that you're getting the most out of it, and sort of YouTube isn't keeping their hand in my pocket. But yeah. Did I feel like okay? So Priyal says, thanks for answering that. It was like I said something mean, then they got hurt, and he said too bad, hurtful argument, legit. But by the way, can we manifest specific things? Like I want him to just post me. Okay, so thanks for answering that. It was like I said something mean, then he got hurt, and he said too. I mean, that usually happens. Like when we're with people, it's almost unavoidable. Obviously, that is an assumption in itself, but it is almost unavoidable. You are going to hurt people, even your partners and stuff along the way. The best thing that I would just say is just practice some forgiveness for both yourself and him for what was said. If you wanted to speak to him, be like, look, sorry for what was said. I hope like we can move past it. Then you absolutely can. And yeah, like it's not the end of the world unless you believe it is. If you think that he like went too far and he was like super disrespectful, then definitely call him out on it. And what you choose to do from there is up to you. Whether you like revise the situation, whether you set some boundaries, whether you take a step back, it's entirely up to you. You can absolutely manifest specific things. And for you wanting him to post you, I would change the way that you're seeing that as I just want him to post me, and instead start seeing it as, oh, wow, he has already posted me. Obviously, you get what you want, are not what you want. So you need to be already posted in your mind. You need to already be the person who he has posted and everything's like great and there's loads of likes and comments and stuff on there and everyone's saying like how amazing you look on the photo or whatever it is that he's posted you about. So assume that it is already done. I obviously get that you put it there to ask me the question saying I just wanted to post me, but change that assumption to I've already been posted and it will eventually happen. You can either create affirmations of that or you can create visualizations or you can script about it. The world is your oyster as long as you are seeing it as I have already been posted and come from like a loving place and not like a desperation of, oh, I need to be posted so I can know he loves me. Just come from, oh, he's posted me to show how much he loves me because we are in this loving communication, committed relationship. Didana says, hi, I know that my SP snaps me every day, but I still have the urge to check if he already did throughout the day because I get excited. Does this come from a state of lack? I wouldn't say excitement is lack. If you are checking because you're like, oh, why hasn't he answered me or why hasn't he snapped me yet? Then that's lack. But if it's like, oh, I can't wait to talk to him. Has he yet? No, not yet. That's fine. I wouldn't say that that's lack because that's general excitement because you are someone who has him in your life. So of course you could be excited. So I'd say that that's fine based on what you told me. Sybil says, I didn't get kidnapped. I've just been depressed and going back to school, lol, but I'm trying to focus on myself and make things better. Well, I'm glad you didn't get kidnapped. I'm sad you are depressed, but yeah, if you continue to work on yourself, put yourself first, do things that you enjoy.
Say I'm glad you're depressed.
No, I'm glad you didn't get kidnapped. I'm sad you're depressed.
Oh, sad you're depressed. I thought you said I'm glad you didn't get kidnapped. I'm glad you're depressed.
No. Yeah, just do things for you. Do things that put you first. Do things that make you happy and remind yourself who Sybil is and just do your very best. You can know that like being depressed doesn't mean that you can't manifest. Just make sure that you do extra special work when you feel good, basically. Not that you need to feel good in order to manifest, but I always find that it is easier because when you're in a good mood, obviously you can feel the fulfillment of having things a lot easier, but it will all get better. And you've got us. Emma says, why am I constantly getting signs, reminders of my SP? It's starting to get weird. A lot of the time, a sign is usually just your subconscious mind seeing that you are putting focus on something. So if you're like, I'm in a committed relationship with Katie and you see Katie's name, it's because you're obviously impressing the name Katie. The reason why signs quite often replicate is because people put too much attention into them. So, oh, there's this sign. I've seen his name. Oh, there's this sign, yada, yada, yada. And a lot of the time, obviously, when your focus goes, energy flows. So if you're placing energy on seeing these signs, you're recreating the signs. So if they're getting irritating, it's probably because you're just giving too much attention to them. And instead, you should just place your focus back on obviously already having your desire, being with your specific person. But it's not like the end of the world if you see a lot of signs. Just make sure that they're not becoming your main focus. I remember when I first got into the law of attraction, I thought angel numbers were like the end all be all. I was like, oh, like there's this angel number, and according to Google, it means that a relative is going to do something. And then I would get too hopped up on it, and then I'd keep seeing it, and I'm just like, oh, and then
I think it's like you start looking for stuff and
Yes.
you notice things, you start looking for them and then you see them more. Like when you buy a new car and then like nobody had that car before you bought it and now everybody has the car.
Yeah.
You see it everywhere.
Exactly. B Givka says, Lily, some way, somehow it'll work in your favor. You've been doing it a lot. You've been doing a lot of work on it. Absolutely. And like I said, well, I asked, but obviously I would end up then saying, it's just making sure that you're spending that time working on you as well and like enjoying your life. I understand that you want your person, and by all means, I'm not telling you to stop like focusing on them, but just make sure that you stay the main focus. Missy B says, after this bad phone call when my SP said about not seeing me until he isn't sleeping with friends with benefit third party, he then phoned and saw me a week later. Could that be because I impressed my subconscious mind then? It's now 2 weeks and I felt rubbish again. So yes, the meeting would have been from your impression, but you really, 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 really need to stop talking about the bloody third party and friends with benefits, because it's becoming quite a common thing in the comment section. And I know obviously you're here to ask me questions, but you know what my answer is going to be because I keep telling you the same answer. Don't give in to the third party. Don't give in to what you're hearing from him. Anything that he is talking about is just old story. Change the assumption, change the way that you're viewing the way he sees you, change the way that you're depicting everything, because if you feel rubbish again because it's been 2 weeks, then that means you're putting too much placement on him on the pedestal and not enough on yourself. You should be seeing yourself as so incredible that why the fuck would he even have a third party anyway? You are the end all be all. You're like the most amazing person. That's how you should be seeing yourself. You need to stop acknowledging this third party's existence. You need to stop talking about it, because it's most comment sections that, well, I say most, it's the past couple of live streams, and obviously when we first came to my channel is in quite a few comment sections. Just let them go and work on yourself. Become so amazing in your life that you find it laughable that he would even consider anybody else to be in that position, and stop allowing his words to be your end all be all. You're saying that his words are more important than your words. By accepting that and letting it make you feel rubbish, you are stating that what he says means more than what you say, which is not the case whatsoever when you change your assumptions. Emma says, is it possible that manifesting a specific person is working, but they just never reach out, meaning they change their opinion of you and like you, but never reach out because of fear or something like that? I don't believe so, because you have the capability of affecting everything. The only reason that would be the case is if you are allowing that assumption to be the case. You're either considering it to be possible, or that is your assumption that they're not reaching out because of it, and therefore they aren't doing it because that's your assumption. But off of their own accord, no, then no one has the free will to just do things off of their own accord. They might have similar instances where they felt almost inspired to, but they're not. But it's never going to be a case that it will never happen until you change your assumptions. A lot of the time, the chances of reaching out and then not reaching out is the way that you are seeing yourself a lot of the time, because they're obviously only playing the script that you're giving them. And if half the time you don't feel worthy, or half the time you feel a state of missing them, and then the other half of the time you're talking about how much they love you and how amazing your relationship is, you're giving them two scripts, and then they might just be they might end up doing what you're doing there, but it won't be off of their own accord. They might do what you're saying they're doing there, but it won't be off of their own accord. It'll be off of the fact that you are not changing the assumption to work in your favor enough for it to finally happen. But they won't be able to off their own accord. Sybil put some little things going above. I didn't get kidnapped. Okay, that was the thing. I always get scared that my SP doesn't want to reach out because she's... Oh, it wasn't to her message. It was to the Emma thing. No. I always get scared that my SP doesn't want to reach out because she's scared. Well, if you're scared that your SP doesn't want to reach out, then that means that you're again in separation. You wouldn't be scared of something if you already had it. So that might be a partial reason as to why they haven't reached out yet. Is the fear that they're not going to reach out because they're scared to, which is going to be creating that situation for you. So again, if you change your assumption on it, if you change the way that you are seeing the situation and work on your fears at a deeper rooted level, that'll then change everything. Chris McQuillan says, I'm the same as Lily. I've grown loads the last 2 years, had movement and interactions with SP social. She posts things she says to get my attention and communication, then posts things recently that I was triggered by. I've been feeling so good, but last week or two, I felt super emotional. Not really sure what to do, as I'm pretty much doing 100% self-concept, not SP stuff, but it's hit me today. Okay, so did you want to tackle this one?
No, I was rereading it.
Sorry. Yeah, there you can see it. So in a lot of cases, when it feels like you're doing everything right, a lot of the time, and this is where it kind of is the alignment between self-concept and version of them, you need to make sure that both are in line. Now, I do say that you should work on your self-concept at least 80% of the time, and SP the other 20%, but you need to make sure that they are in line. So if your self-concept is amazing and you see yourself as the most worthy and deserving and special and amazing person, but then you keep looking at them and saying, oh yeah, but they did do these things to hurt me, and they're not really super serious about this relationship. If you have versions of them that go against you, you're occupying two stories at the same time, which obviously could then end up in either what Chris has been experiencing, which is a bit like hot and cold, where they say one thing and then they'll do another, or it will end up in things not going well because maybe your version of them you are more holding to be true than your self-concept. You might be holding they don't want to come back because they're scared to, more than everyone comes back to me, and therefore they're kind of clashing. So what I would recommend both of you do is get a pen and paper and write out what your potential blocks are when it comes to self-concept, so the way that you see like yourself in regards to relationships, in regards to just in general, and the version and the assumptions that you have of the version of them, and anything that could be potentially stopping them from coming in. And then if you can, swap the both of them to be more desirable. So if it's, I don't actually feel like I am good enough for them to look back and come back to me, then change that to, of course, I'm more than good enough to manifest anything that I want, or I'm more than good enough to have any relationship that I want. And then if it's, oh, well, they kind of don't feel the need to come back to me because they don't think I'm good enough, then you'll change that to, of course, SP thinks I'm good enough. And you just basically switch them over. And that's usually a good way of getting rid of hot and cold behavior, is working and making sure that both are aligning. I actually had a client a while ago, and this is a really good example of it. And Rogan is on the screen. I had a client a while ago. When she was away from her specific person, she worked on self-concept and everything went amazing. And then she would get like see her specific person, and he would end up being a bit hot and cold. And the reason being is when she was away, she was like, oh yeah, I'm empowered, I'm amazing, I'm this, I'm that. And then when they're together, she just immediately put him back on the pedestal and put on the versions of like, he basically isn't willing to commit, he isn't these things, he isn't yada, yada, yada. And then he would end up acting out like that. He wouldn't commit, he wouldn't do anything. But when she was away, working on self-concept, he would basically be begging for her attention. And it's because she was giving him two scripts: the script of I'm amazing and you're going to beg for me, and the script of you're too good for me and you don't want to commit. So she started to align the two, as far as I'm aware, before our coaching ended. I haven't heard anything back from her yet, so I can't really continue this story. But from my understanding, just before the coaching ended, things started to get a lot better because she started to try and align the two, and hopefully she's with her person now. But yeah, you've got to try and align the way that you view yourself and relationships and the way that you're viewing this person. Connie Michelle says, if I spend my days living in the end with my SP, but I have dreams about us not being together, does that mean my subconscious mind is not impressed? I don't think dreams have any power whatsoever. I do tell everyone that they should give good meaning to dreams, because a lot of people seem to focus on them more than I personally think they should. What?
I was going to say, I think a lot of the time, like, I'm guilty of it too. When you have a really bad dream that's really like fucked up and really upsetting, you sit there and you're like, oh my God, imagine if that happened to me. Imagine if that was my life. Imagine if this happened. And then you start imagining it and you're like, what would I do in this situation? What would I do in that situation? And then you start living in your dream. And I think that is the only time that your dream can really genuinely affect your life and your manifestations, is when you sit there and you relay it and you replay it over and over again, and you go through, like, cat hair in my mouth, yay, and you go through every little detail of it, and you're like, what would I do then, what would I do now, sort of thing. And when you do that, that's when you cat's gone now, that's when you really start like getting into it. And every time he leaves me alone, I get really nervous. Oh, he's back, it's fine. But yeah, I think that is the only thing that you should worry about with dreams, is when you give it too much meaning yourself. Because yeah, I'm very much guilty of it, and I'll sit there and I will cry because I've had a bad dream. And you got a Malteser.
I got a Malteser. I fucking hate Malteser, man. Yeah, so I'm also the same. I've had a dream where Katie cheated on me in the past, and I woke up like
like actually mad at me.
Yeah, like kind of mad. Only for like 5-10 minutes, until I was like, oh, it was just a dream. But so yeah, I completely understand why you would get like a bit iffy to begin with. But once you've kind of calmed down from the initial dream feelings, there's no point giving them power. I don't believe that dreams have any meaning, because there'll be like dreams where you're like sat on a fucking fish flying through the air, and all of a sudden you're in a castle and shit. And it's like, can't really tell me like that has that how is that impressed? Like what does that mean that your subconscious mind is holding on to?
Last night that me and the kids and a cat, one of our cats, broke into someone's house. That was my actual dream last night. And I broke into someone's house, and then they were coming home, and I had to really quickly grab the kids, all of their things that they brought in with them, because they both bought a teddy, and they both bought this, and they both bought that. And oh yeah. And yeah, do you want me to go and get them?
Yeah, please.
I was talking.
No, after you finish talking.
But yeah, no. And yeah, and then I had to catch the cat and take the cat, and yeah, that's never going to happen to me. Can you? I need to bring.
They're like all Malteser. Why?
But yeah, that will never happen to me in real life. I will never take the children with me when I break into people's houses.
When? What do you mean when? Well, it's everywhere. So I've just literally had 4 Maltesers in a row, and I hate Malteser. Fucking rebels are useless. But yeah, so I wouldn't give it any power. Peyton says, how do I put faith/belief I will get my manifestation? I try to believe and not be skeptical because I really want this to work, but I can't help but keeping doubt. Okay, so fortunately, you don't need to believe in order to manifest. You need to impress, which means the continuation of I have this, this is me, I do this, we do this, whatever it is that you're manifesting. Did you say that what it is you manifesting? No. You just need to do that enough until it impresses. You need to repeat that until you get to a point where, yep, this is my reality. I occupy a state in which I have this, blah, blah, blah. Only temporarily. And then you have to go forward basically pretending that you are that person. So you don't need to believe them. However, in terms of putting faith and belief, this kind of helps out because this means all that you have to do is impress yourself. You just have to keep doing it. You just have to keep going, changing your thoughts. And eventually you will start to see, in some cases, like people have signs, or you will end up getting results to some extent. So it might be the text, it might be a date, it might be money. It depends what you're manifesting. And things will eventually start to happen. And then this allows you to then go, okay, I then have some proof that this works for me. And then you keep going and then you'll get more things. And it's like, okay, I now have more proof that this works for me. And then you keep going, you'll get more proof and so on and so forth until this is when it becomes a natural assumption because you'll be like, oh yeah, it just naturally goes this way for me because you've been doing it so much. So this is how you will then put faith and belief in it. It will eventually, obviously, over time happen. However, until then, you need to stop disassociating yourself with your reality. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to have faith in it. You just have to continuously do it until results start to show. But the more that you say, I try to believe because I really want this to work, but I can't help but keep getting doubts, you need to just stop trying to believe it. Don't just continue to put in the work, and you need to do your best to quash the doubts. And the best way to do that is to just remind yourself of what reality that you are living in. Ask yourself, if I had this right now, would I be doubting? If I had the money that I needed, would I be doubting where I'm getting money from? If I had this relationship, would I be doubting that they're coming? And you need to just remind yourself of this place, because the more that you put your focus on already having your thing and being the person that has this thing, the more you will start to get some form of evidence over time appear. Especially if you work on self-concept, a lot of people say that they start to feel better and they start to have like other people showing up for them in a certain way before they get their person. And this will then help you believe it in the long run. But having doubts is disassociating. So you need to, I know it's going to sound stupid, but you need to not have doubts. You need to just choose, am I going to throw myself at this or am I not? You haven't got to believe it. You just got to be persistent in doing it. Kind of like a job. I don't love my job, like my 9 to 5, but I still go, kind of see it like that. I may not believe my affirmations yet, but I'm still going to affirm and I'm still going to try to feel as though they are real. Sort of similar thing. Oh, Chris said more that I missed in his other message. Oops. Sorry, Chris. Chris McGuire said, I'm finding her interaction to be difficult as it's everything, then nothing. And I know this is affirming it, but I've affirmed the opposite consistently and then got on with me, not sure what to do. Okay, so I would, again, not give it attention. I find that when someone is not being desired. So, okay, so use Katie and I as an example. If we have like a bicker or an argument, I usually just shut off now. Before, I would like really feed into it and argue and bicker, but now I kind of just shut off. I just don't even bother talking unless we end up discussing the situation, or I'll just go to the gym or like whatever. I just, because there's no room for it in my life. I have a lot of stuff going on and I need peace in my life. So if we end up getting in a bicker, I'm just going to remove myself from the situation. And I find that this helps a lot in not recreating it, because you can't react to something you're not involved in. So if they start acting like a bit cold or like they're kind of like being a bit distant or whatever, just don't give it time. Go and do you. Just go off and do your own thing, and then just wait until your manifestation comes in where they start being better behaved. And then being more in line with what it is that you want, and then you can feed into it. When you don't feed into something undesirable, you're not creating it as much. So acknowledging, okay, they're being stupid or they're not being like loving or whatever is one thing, but then to really feed into it and be like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Or maybe I need to affirm harder. Maybe I need to do this. That is placing focus on a problem that needs fixing. We don't want to have this problem in our reality. Therefore, we don't want to place focus on any kind of problem. So what I recommend you do is when they are being hot, when they're being cold, or when they're being distant, or anything undesirable, just remove yourself from the situation and say, if I had my desire, how would I react to this? And it's like, if I had my loving relationship, would I be going, oh God, are they not going to message me again because they're being a bit cold? Or, oh, will I ever get them back because they're being a bit cold? You would just be like, this is my person. They're being a bit dumb. I'm going to just go do my own thing because I'm important to myself and I'm not going to feed into someone who isn't giving me the time of day. And usually, one, that's a self-concept thing because you're saying, I deserve more than this shitty behavior. And two, because you aren't feeding into it too much, because accepting that someone's doing something and then walking away is only one sort of notice / thought or whatever you want to refer it to as. But if you're really digging into it, trying to find the answer, trying to find what you can do to change it, that's when you're starting to spiral. That's when you're starting to dwell on what you are seeing. If you just go, oh, you're acting like that, and then go off and do your own thing, you're just putting yourself first. So that's what I would recommend. A coffee one, yay. Ashtown Love says, sometimes I have dreams where he gets back to me and others not. And sometimes it shows me stuff I've been thinking and take it as feedback on what I need to do to improve mentally with my affirmations. See, that's a good way of dealing with it. If you can take something from your dream, either good or bad, and then make it into something positive, that's a good way to go with dreams. But if you have a terrible dream and you really can't get anything out of it, there's no point giving it any power. There's like stupid Malteser. There's no point giving it any power because you're only going to be hurting yourself. And because they are just dreams, and not your conscious thinking, you know that your conscious thinking can change what you are seeing. Oh, you've had another donation. B. Givka says, thank you for replying. I've decided I'm fed up with 3D and I'm going all in on my new story. That's good. You've made the decision. And now I really hope you stick to that because that will be what yields results. Giving into the old story to any capacity is not benefiting you. That is focus that could be put towards your new story or could be put towards a entirely new story. So either new story with your person or new story with a new person or whatever it is that you're manifesting, or a completely different desire, or just doing something that makes you happy. If someone's being a bit crappy, just go put your focus on achieving something for yourself, like going on a walk longer than you normally would, or maybe going a different route to a walk. You know what I mean? Like that focus is not benefiting you whatsoever putting it on the old story. So if you go all in on the new story or on a completely different story, that will benefit you much, much more. So I highly recommend that everyone do the same and follow B. Givka in going in all in on the new story. Thank you very much for the donation. We really, really appreciate that. It's very kind of you. It's almost up to the first hour. I got to do the first draw in a minute. I've got to get all the way
Just
to it.
going back to the dreams.
Yes.
One thing that I have noticed about me personally is every now and then, not my dream yesterday, that was completely random, but every now and then, the thing that I dream about was the thing that I was stressing about or thinking about as I fell asleep. So I think if you're having sort of like those high stress dreams, try as you're falling asleep, picturing your new story. Sorry. My voice keeps going all funny. Like picturing your I'm going to cough every time I try and talk. Picturing your new story as you're falling asleep and try and choose what your dream is going to be. Because sometimes I will sit there thinking, oh, I really forgot to book that thing. And then my dream will be about me trying to book that thing. And it's a massive pain in the butt. And like the dream's really stressful. And then I wake up really stressed and I'm like, oh, I need to book that thing. And like, you know, you like sort of you can to some extent create what dream you're having. Not always, because my one was completely random. But it's a thingy, isn't it? Going to sleep thinking about or picturing something.
Visualizing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can do your best to just create the best. And if you get something bad, it's not the end of the world. You can just brush off.
It doesn't matter.
Yes. Gemma Upton says, "Can I affirm a guy from Snapchat to fall in love, even though he doesn't know me in real life?" Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, happens all the time. I mean, just silly examples, but think of all of these women online that are like, "Oh, you know, like, I'll give you some attention, you pay me." Those men are head over heels for them, you know, and they don't even know who they are. So this is the reverse of what you just asked, but it does happen that can happen. It does happen that can happen. I fucking butchered that, but yes, absolutely, it can happen.
Strange
What?
example.
I was because I was trying to think of like people that online that make other people fall in love with them when they don't even know who they are, and that was just all the simps
like all the
online.
influencers. And
Yeah,
stuff,
that too.
like,
There's obviously in the reverse because you're the one that's not known yet because you will have him. But yeah, I was just trying to prove that it can happen on in the reverse. But yes, absolutely, it can happen. Holly says, "Thank you guys so much," and then smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, and then a bunch of hands. You're very, very welcome.
high fives.
Are they high fives? Oh, I thought it was someone doing that.
Well, I don't know, but like there's this whole thing online where people are like, "Oh, it's this," and then other people are like, "No, it's a high five."
But it's the same hand.
But that.
Yeah, but we haven't got the same hand.
No,
Surely,
but
surely they
it's
put
an
two.
emoji hand.
Yeah, but surely they just put two different hands. Like, what about?
But all of emoji hands are the same hands.
They could have made them a different color.
It's like that one as well.
Yeah, yeah. Then so it's that then. If that's that, it's the same person. Then surely it's. You know what? This is a live stream about LOA. But yeah, you're very, very welcome. I assume we answered a question. Maybe I'm not sure. Lily says, so this is based on Lily saying that she's been doing work for a very long time and then it went wrong so far. Lily says, "No, great question. I think I did obsess a bit in the beginning, like last fall, but then I started to work on myself mostly. I know I've been focusing a bit on time, etc., but working on that. And yes, I got a manifestation buddy a few days ago, and although I never dwell on circumstances, I don't even talk about my SP to anyone. I now told her about my new story with him and everything that happened back then. I now told her about my story with him, and everything that happened back then, just so she knows my situation, because we were talking about what we were manifesting and all of that. We made a decision to not dwell in our circumstances from now on. So after I told her that, I suddenly got this urge to check. At first, I felt excited, but then, yeah, I saw this. I don't know. I know 3D is just a manifestation of our thoughts and assumptions. I just thought I would see a slight movement in the 3D by now. My SP and I only had 3 days spring last year, but we acted like we were already in a relationship. I don't know why 3D threw me so much today." Okay, so I think it's very important, and I think you should give yourself a round of applause for being very honest about how you actually did handle that situation. Not only at the beginning, but also the way at the end, because a lot of people will be like, no, it's perfect the whole time. And I've had that quite a lot, and it can be a bit frustrating as a coach. So I think you definitely should be proud of yourself for being able to actually accept that maybe you did do some wrong at the beginning. But yeah, like you say, you focused a bit too much on time. So I would try to take out the concept of time. But also another thing that I did notice that you said was, and this again might have just been for the sake of the circumstances of talking to your manifestation buddy, but you said, where was it? I might not be able to find it and use it as an example, but so yeah, sorry for everyone in the stream waiting for me to figure out what I'm trying to talk around. Basically, you said something like you thought movement would have happened by now. The thought of movement happening by now, and again, this could have obviously been as in like a subconscious, like, oh, surely there must have been movement, and not like a conscious thinking. But again, if you think movement is going to be happening, that would then mean that you are disassociating with the end result, because in the end result, there is no need for movement because it's already there. So maybe you were, and again, this is another question, and I do apologize, but maybe you were trying to get him instead of experiencing him. So you were trying to get the movement and the relationship by trying to manifest him instead of just simply embodying and experience this relationship already, which is why you are focusing on time, because your focus was on, has it worked yet? And you thought you would have movement because you were like, well, I've done it for this long, so surely there would be movement, instead of just having an inner knowing of, this is my relationship and I do have him. So that's a potential, like, I don't know, ask yourself if maybe that was something that you were doing. But as for the rest, so you've now got a manifestation buddy. The old story doesn't need to be told. circumstances can change. So I would recommend, like you said, that you'd already done, pick yourself up and brush yourself off and get back on it. Make sure you are continuing to focus on you. Live your life to the best of your ability. If you were to die tomorrow, how would you live today? And then live every single day in the best possible way that you can. And you'll get to a point where you have such an amazing life because you're building up everything that you won't even notice the time as much. And then before you know it, boom, there he is.
We just hit the hour. We just hit the
I
hour.
hope that helped.
I was just looking at the live chat a little bit further down, and somebody asked, I didn't see who, whether or not you have to stay for the giveaway. You do not. It's going to be posted afterwards, just quickly. But it is time to do the first one.
So for the first person, I'll let you do the first hour.
I handwrote all of these, and what I did afterwards is went and bought some raffle tickets so that next time we do it, I'm not handwriting all of them.
Yeah, because someone did 163 entries.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll do the first lot.
Right, so I'm going to write it down in my little notebook. What is the first prize?
The first one will be the 3-day email coaching. If by the way, you win a prize and it's not really what you want and you're like, I don't want it, by all means, in your email, just say, you know, I'm not actually interested in that. I will pass this on to someone else if you'd like to. I'm not sure many people will do that because obviously why would you get involved in the entry if you didn't want to win? But if that is the case, then that's fine. You don't have to accept it if you don't want to. Clothing. That's fine. We know what it is. Okay, so the first person is one of the people that did. So we put AB because it got very long to type. Aniket Bu. I don't know if I said that right. So Aniket Bu has won the 3-day email coaching. We are making it so that if you win one thing, you cannot win the same thing again. So if we pull him again, then yeah, Katie can do. And the second one is the access to the Zoom call.
Okay, let me just write down Zoom call. Huh? Suspense. There you go, you can read it out.
Fandom Geek is the winner for access to the next Zoom call. And then finally, you can do this one as well.
Yeah, hold on. Let me write it down.
And then this is for the £10 Amazon gift voucher. Miss Music Theatre is the first winner for the £10 Amazon voucher. So we're writing all this down, and at the end we will put up a community post saying who's won what, and obviously ask you to email us. So we have Aniket Bu for the 3-day email coaching, Fandom Geek for the access to the Zoom call, and then Miss Music Theatre for the £10. So thank you everyone that got involved. We will do the next draw in the next hour. But back to questions. And yeah, if you don't have to stick in the live stream for the giveaway, we will just post the winners. Just toy car on the floor. Verge, sorry if I said that wrong. What is the craziest thing you two have manifested? It depends how you would describe crazy. It depends if by crazy you mean like completely out of the blue, or if you mean crazy is something that like the year before we would never have pictured ourselves having that. For me, the first out of the blue thing was probably the first time I actually consciously manifested anything, because obviously it was like, wow, that worked. And it was basically money. I was watching a video about manifesting money, tried it on work, and literally the same day, my my nan came to my house and she gave me an envelope and was like, oh, this is from your aunt or your great aunt. And in it was just money for no reason. I think something to do with her husband had died and she was like getting affairs in order or something. I can't fully remember, but yeah, so that was that. But the biggest thing, like the craziest thing that I manifested, was my job that I am now trying to remove myself from, because at the time that was such a massive pay jump for me. And it was like the first time that I had like really manifested something that I thought was like crazy out of my reach prior. So like, because only 6 months before this, not 6 months before this, what is it? My highest paying job before I got this one was like £4,000 a year less. And everything that I looked at was like, oh, you can't get this if you don't have this kind of qualification. And I got this job without having any kind of without having the specific qualification, and it was a considerable pay increase. So for me, qualifications. So for me, that was like a really big thing. Did you have something that you wanted to put? Obviously, other than me, because I'm the most amazing thing that you manifested.
I don't really know. So there's like lots of things that looking back on my life, I'm like, oh my God, I did that. But at the time I didn't know that I was doing that. I think the craziest one, which is going to sound really weird, but my shoe size.
Oh, you got to give us a bit more than that.
Right, okay. So obviously, like, I had all my shoes. And then one day my shoes didn't fit anymore. And I was like, oh my God, I've gone up a shoe size. And then I was like, no, I haven't. No, I absolutely haven't. There is no way I have. There is no way I have. And then I did not. But it took a while for it to go. So I had to buy new shoes, but not very many, because then it went back to the other shoe size. And I was like, there you go. I told you that my shoe size did not grow. But yeah, that was, I guess, a crazy one. I feel like I created the car setting on fire.
Yeah, you definitely did.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that. Let's not give them context. Let's just leave it as the car set on fire.
An
extra.
Oh, and my hair.
Oh, scared the shit
Sorry,
out.
I got really excited then. So a few months ago, my hair started to massively break and fall off. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I definitely have. Look how much longer it is. It has suddenly grown, and obviously all of my roots, I'm not dyeing it because that's the reason it broke off in the first place. But this was, I reckon, like a couple of weeks ago, at least this much shorter. So my hair.
She is a perfect example of how things can change no matter how much you affirm the opposite. She would not shut up about how much her hair was falling off, about how much it was breaking.
But then I did, and now look at it.
And then all of a sudden she's just like, actually, you know what? My hair's fucking amazing, and it stayed true to this new assumption, and now it's already better. It is like, a lot better.
Literally, in 2 weeks, I have gained, I'd say, an inch of hair, maybe. Would you say?
It took me 24 years to gain 3 inches. Nature Blend said, my situation was with an SP with a 3P.
I keep doing something really weird to it though, and I keep touching it and playing with it.
Nature Blend said, my situation is with an SP with a 3P. Is it okay doing sats where my SP tells me that he broke up with 3P because he loves me more, or is it bad because I include 3P in my name, in my mind? I personally don't think that it's good to reference the third party to any extent, even like in the manifestation in this situation where you're like, oh, I'm with you and not the 3P. Because again, it's just putting more attention on that person existing in the first place. We want to just choose a new reality. We don't want to be trying to change this one. So I would just straight up advise that you just go straight to the end of you two already being together in a loving relationship. And you can either have it as in you've always been together and that there was never a 3P involved, not as in like you state there was never a 3P, but you know, oh, we've been together since we were 16, or just go straight to the end of we are together. Whatever happens will happen to get rid of the third party, and to get you back together or together in the first place. But I personally wouldn't advise it. I speak from experience with this. There's been instances where I've tried to manifest away people by saying like this person has left and they've stayed very, very prominent. There's actually someone who her and I have had an argument about because I was trying to remove them. This was like a while ago now, but I tried to remove them, and then she was like, I just think it's funny that, and I was like, fuck. So yeah, and when I stopped giving this person any attention at all, gone entirely. So take that on board.
Who is it?
I don't want to say. She who shall not be named. Yeah. Ashtown Love says, sometimes I miss my SP, not in a lack way, but in a loving way, and say I'm going to see him tomorrow soon or later today. Also, I don't desire my SP as I used to. I still want him, but it's not a big attachment, like a needy attachment. So that's a good place to be, because that means that you're coming from love. I love this person and I want them, not this person used to be in my life. Now there's a hole that isn't filled. Because a lot of the time that we obviously it kind of does loop itself. A lot of the time when we feel so hurt over a breakup is because we have a severe lack of self-love in the first place. Like, obviously, yes, breakups always hurt because you love this other person, but the less love you have for yourself, the more the breakup will hurt you, because you have lost something that you were basically codependent on. You needed this person to validate you, to make you feel love, to give you whatever it is that you wanted from them. And then once they've gone, you're now like, well, I don't really know what to do with myself anymore. Whereas if you're someone with like a really built up self-concept, yes, it will still hurt, obviously, but you'll be able to go forward going like, you know what, it hurts, but it will get better. I've got these hobbies, I've got my friends, I've got my amazing job, I've got like my whatever it is that you do. So a lot of the time, the better your self-concept, the less of an attachment you already have. So a lot of the times when people come to me saying, I want my SP, but I don't really need them, or I don't really feel like I have to affirm for them anymore, that's usually a good sign. That means that your self-concept is either built up or you've impressed some sort of I am in this relationship so that you don't feel the need to continue going. Because a good analogy for it is you don't feel hungry when you've already eaten. So there's no reason to continue affirming when you already feel like you actually have your person. So hopefully that helps. Gemma Upton says, I like Kate. Yeah, she's right.
Thank you.
Ashtown Love says, oh, sorry, I didn't realize you'd put more onto your thing. Also, I don't design my SP as I used to. I still want him, but not as big as an attachment or a needy attachment, which I take as good, but sometimes I miss that loving feeling I used to feel. But I tell myself my thoughts are what manifest, not my emotions, and know I have nothing to fix because I know I can affirm and know it's mine and I'm good. Yeah, exactly. And the better you feel inside, the more love you provide yourself, the more that you can deem yourself worthy of love, the more that will reflect out and you will receive love from external sources. First within, so without, sort of thing. Jade Dree says, I want SP back, but I want SP back, then I can get it. You spoke about there's no free will before. Okay, yeah. So I believe, and this is depending on what you believe in more than anything. I've always believed in alternate realities, even before I got involved in the law of assumption. It's just always the scientific theory that I got on board with the most. And then I found the law of assumption, and I found the explanations that the law has involved. Which one's your drink? Is it this one? That was just cool.
I don't know. Why did you put your drink on my face?
I don't know. I'm busy changing lives. But
luckily, I'm not contagious.
But yeah, so yeah, I believe in alternate realities. The reason that I don't believe free will exists, and the reason that I don't feel that you should feel guilty about anything that you try to manifest, unless you deliberately try to manifest harm on someone, then I think that that's like something that maybe you should reconsider. But all I believe is that we do is we shift into a consciousness where we already have this thing. So if I was to try and manifest money from someone, I wouldn't be taking money from the person that's in this current reality. I would shift my awareness and my consciousness to a reality in which this is already happening. I'm already receiving this money. I've already received it, sort of thing. And this is why that you can't feel guilt or anything, because whatever you are experiencing in your reality was going to unfold anyway. You have just shifted into the awareness of the person who is going to experience this, which means technically you didn't have any involvement in what's happening in that reality. That reality was already playing out on its own path. You are just then like waking up in that reality as though you are that person. I hope that makes sense. I know I keep saying it, and I am planning to do it, but I will be doing a video with the whiteboard showing a diagram and all that lot of my belief of how the alternate realities work, to give you a bit of an idea. That will be coming soon. I just haven't got around to doing it yet, but I hope that's a good enough explanation for now. If you need more, by all means, just say and I'll post more. Kate is currently dying in the kitchen. Grandpa Turtle says, all right, so SP follows people on Insta, and I don't like how would I go about like not caring about it. I know that my end goal is SP, so I shouldn't give a shit. How do I stop, lol? Another thing is some days I come back to realization. I can't speak. Another thing is some days I come back to realizations where I do not give a shit about SP, and it's like, why do I even like SP? But it's like, I don't know. I still kind of want it, but not really. What is that? apparently Katie's dying and she thinks going into the hallway is any different to coughing right next to me.
Sorry, I'm trying to save everyone from hearing my
They
coughs.
definitely could still hear you.
I brought them back with me. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Yeah. Okay. So the first thing I would I don't think that your SP following people matters whatsoever. Personally, my personal opinion is that if your specific person follows people, that should not be something that you are concerned about whatsoever. And I think if you don't like that they're following, if it's someone that they had involvement with in the past or something, then sure, I can understand why. But if it's just random people on the internet, I personally don't see what the problem is.
I do.
Of course you would. But I also do think that kind of sort of attitude towards it comes from a lack of self-concept. You're kind of trying to keep them in this little cage, in this little bubble, so that they couldn't potentially leave you or potentially move on from you. Because other than that, what would there really be a reason as to not see other people unless you felt threatened by these other people? So the first thing that I would say is there's probably a self-concept issue if you don't feel good enough, or you feel that you could be replaced, or you feel like if you aren't the only person in their life, the only person they see, that there's the potential that they'll move on from you. So I would work on the self-concept of seeing yourself as so amazing that who cares, even if they have other people on their social media, they're not leaving you whatsoever. The other side of it is this is not an uncommon thing either. I know I say that quite a lot, but it's because I get a lot of questions. This isn't an uncommon thing where people are like, do I want them? Do I not? It's perfectly normal, in my opinion, for you to be not with someone and have fluctuating feelings about whether you want them or not. Every single day, we wake up in a different state to the day before. Some days we'll wake up happier. Some days we'll wake up sadder. On the days where you feel particularly good, you probably are sitting there like, why do I even care? Because you know that you don't need the validation from someone else. And then potentially on another day, you might not feel so great, and therefore you need the validation from someone else. And obviously SP is the first one that comes to mind. So that is why I think that a lot of people that have this kind of situation, because on the days that they feel great, they're more than happy to be like, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna go do me. On the days they don't feel great, they're like, oh, but I miss them and I miss the love that they get. And a lot of the time, it's not even the person that you want, it's just the way that they made you feel, or it's still filling a void that you currently have. So a lot of the time, it's worth really sitting with yourself and asking yourself, actually, do I want this, before you continue on? Because, and I had this example from a client not long ago where they basically said to me that they don't even really want their specific person, but they've been doing it for so long that they kind of just want to stay committed. And I was really confused about this, because I was like, this is your life. You only have one life, and you are sticking it out with someone that you don't even want anymore purely because you've already done the time getting them. If you don't want your person, sit down and decide whether or not you're just having a bad day or that you don't actually want them. If you don't bother wasting your time trying to re-manifest them because you've either put in the work so you might as well, or what if it could be better? If you don't want them, you can move on from them. This conscious creation isn't just for getting exes back. You can use this to create the most amazing, more valuable, perfect relationship that you can going forward. And in a lot of cases, when you've improved your self-concept, you'll find that your next relationship is better than your last, because you won't have the old story of the old version in mind. So really sit down with yourself and ask yourself, what do you actually feel like on a general basis? Okay. You okay?
Yeah.
I thought you were saying something.
Oh, I was going to say something.
I got him.
I was just going to say as well, if you are in that sort of weird limbo of, I don't know, do I want them? Maybe, maybe not, maybe. Then focus on creating your very perfect person. Because even if it comes down to 2 months from now and you go, actually, yes, I want them, all you've been doing in that time is creating your perfect person, which means they're becoming your perfect person. And you can go back to making more sort of conscious decisions towards them, if that makes sense. But in that meantime, you can just sit there and be like, my perfect person does this, my perfect person does that, my perfect person, smells like this, does that. And like in that 2 months time, if they are your perfect person, and then in 2 months you choose, all that will happen to them in that time is that they might buy that perfume. They might, become your perfect person.
Mm.
So you're not deleting any progress. You're not, doing anything to upset what you've already done. And it wouldn't upset it the other way either. And then in 2 months' time, you might actually have met your perfect person, and that original ex-SP has gone, and they're gone. But you have your perfect person.
Yeah, you always need to be open as well. A lot of people do get stuck in this little box where they're like, this is my person and I'll have nothing but them. You got to stay open. Not only does that help release attachment, which makes it easier for people to come in, but also if someone better comes along, what is the point in sticking out with this person just because you love them? Like, I know that sounds ridiculous, thing to say, but if you are manifesting someone back and someone better comes along, what is holding you to this previous person? An idea of the way things used to be. You can have the same relationship with anyone. You are a conscious creator, remember? You can have the same love, the same abundance, the same happiness with anyone that you chose. You don't have to pick the ex. And I know this is contradictory considering mine is sat right next to me, but this is for people that don't know what they want. Top FJS says, how do you personally affirm? What's the tone, volume, speed, etc.? Okay, so I usually go on.
No, you carry on.
I usually do mine, give examples in a lot of my videos. That is exactly how I do it. But let's say that I'm manifesting for money and I'm on my own. I will be like, money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways. Of course, money comes to me. I am so financially abundant. I earn £15,000 a month. I have more money coming to me than I even know what to do with. I'd say that's pretty much how I affirm if I'm on my own. If I'm not on my own, I kind of just do it sort of in the same way, but in my head. Do you want to do yours?
Mine is very varied. And I don't think the variety in which you do it actually affects it at all. So, like I said before, I do sing them while I'm driving.
Go on, give us an example then.
No, I'm not going to sing them now. I have a chest infection. There is no way. But I just
Victim
replace.
State.
Nah. I just replace words in a song and just make them mine. Or sometimes I will just randomly burst out one. Just.
Yeah, she does that.
Yeah. Literally I'll be stood there and I'm like, oh my God, I'm beautiful. Yeah.
It's usually in the beginning of her tone is as if something's gone wrong. So oh my God. And I'm like, oh, I got to fight. Where's the spider? I'm usually on guard. And she's like, I'm beautiful. I'm like, oh, I was asleep. Let me sleep.
So yeah, burst them out. Or the way that I do them in the affirmations tapes. Which is I guess an ambitious voice. Yeah.
Didana says, what's the difference between affirming and scripting? Love you guys. Thanks. We love you too. Affirming is stating it out loud or saying in your head of, I have this, I am this, I do this. Scripting, you can do it the exact same way, but it's writing it down. So scripting would be getting a pen and paper and just writing out I am this, I do this. Is there something on there?
Yeah.
Oh, oops. Don't go back there and see what was there. And yeah.
What's to do with my tarots?
Oh, it's fine. No one will know. Yeah, so it's just writing it out. So I am this, I do this, I have this. Or scripting, you could do it like a story. So today I had this amazing date with SP and everything was lovely. At the end of it, we went back to their place. So affirming is just basically a statement that you say either in your head or out loud. And scripting is a statement or a story that you write on a piece of paper or in your phone notes, or basically write it down.
Remember, as well, texting is scripting.
Yeah. Any kind of writing where you're thinking about something is a form of scripting. Hi, Ray Ray.
Yeah.
Hope that helps. I'm going to get in trouble for showing you guys her stuff. That's cute. I like that. Missy B says, oh dear, I saw the look on your face before you answered my question. I'll stop asking questions. No, don't stop asking questions. Just stop bringing...
He's just dramatic.
I'm not dramatic.
He is so dramatic. Every time he feels... He's like, Oh, fuck again. No.
No, I'm not like that.
Yeah.
But you can ask questions. By all means, please continue to ask questions. It's just try to stop affirming the same thing.
He rolls his eyes and then says he doesn't.
She's making me sound so biting.
No, I'm not making you sound bad. But you did it when you read the question. You was like,
Yeah, because it's like me and Missy B, we have gone through the ringer trying to get through this whole 3P situation. And when I saw it again, I was like, all the work that you've put in is just being reaffirmed the opposite. I want you to continue asking questions. And by all means, if you have questions, please ask them. But I would advise asking your questions with as little of telling the old story as you possibly can, considering I already know your old story. So if it was just like, oh, had a bit of a negative situation today, what can I do about it? That's like still telling me that, I felt bad because he said that he doesn't want to be with me, or you know what I mean? So please do continue asking questions. By all means, I don't want anyone to feel like they can't ask me questions. It's just we've had that same question quite a lot, and you definitely know the answer. You just need to believe in yourself a little bit more that you can pull yourself out of it, because we've obviously had emails and stuff. You got this. Please don't stop asking questions. It's not what I wanted. I just wanted you to not ask the same question as you have like quite a lot, or at least not bring up the same context as you have quite a lot. Marco says, hi Marco. Sybil says, I try not to talk about circumstances as much as possible. I just wanted to state that because I'd rather not keep it sitting in the back of my mind, because I feel like when I hold things in, it just gets worse. Yeah, I do agree. And I've had a couple of clients say like, oh, I feel like amazing today because I had this massive cry yesterday. You can react. You can cry. You can get upset. You can do whatever. But it's how quickly you're able to bring yourself out of that. If you have like a 5-minute cry or a 5-minute rant and it gets it out of your system and then you can go forward in the right state, I would prefer you do that than bottle it up. It's just for the people that will stay in the same state for day after day after day after day. That's where I start saying about like, you really got to stop affirming the old story, or you got to get out of this victim state. If it genuinely helps you to release it so that you can spend the next 2 weeks going forward in a better state, then spending one day maybe a bit low isn't going to kill your manifestation. It's just try your best to not associate as much with the negative side, causing you to need to release it, as you do with the positive side. Grandpa Turtle says, that cat looks like a tiger. Oh my God. What? Rogan? Was it Rogan?
Rogan. Yeah, she does.
A little bit. She's a meow.
Come here.
She's a meow meow.
She's sat on the side over there, refusing to come over.
Is there any like photos now? Can you see her? I don't know if you can see because of the light. Hopefully you can see my cat, or one of them loafing. One of them. Not my favorite one. My favorite one's eating in the other room. Gemma Upton says, our cat is so cute. Yeah, she is. Kiati says, I think I'm not having a fixed schedule for affirming. It's just whenever it occupies my mind, I affirm for a few minutes and that's it. Is it sufficient, or should I have a proper schedule each day? A proper schedule I would recommend for people who really struggle to continue to doing their affirmations and will just dwell in the old story. Oh, you could see the cat. I can see it on there. And will just dwell in the old story. As long as you are thinking from the end when your desire comes to mind, affirming for a bit if you want to, or just simply thinking and acting as if you are this person, that is sufficient enough. As long as you are more dominantly thinking from the end than you aren't, and you think of it whenever something comes to mind regarding your desires, that is sufficient enough. It is just about catching these thoughts when they come up and then switching them. That is extremely important. Emma says, what causes 3P to come into existence? So there's two ways. Well, I suppose there are a few ways. They all kind of boil down to the same thing. Fear is one way. Fear of like not being good enough and all that. And then that obviously does boil down to self-concept of not feeling good enough, feeling worthy of being replaced, feeling like other people are better than you. Because your subconscious mind takes what you feed it and then pushes it back out to prove to you that it is your existence. That is what it is. You give it a recipe and then it pushes it out to prove to you that that recipe exists for you. This is why we already want to experience it, or at least tell ourselves that we experience it. So a lot of the time you will fear them moving on, or a lot of the time you'll feel like you're not good enough, or a lot of the time you'll be threatened by, I mean, I probably wouldn't have yanked it like that, but fair enough. A lot of the time it's like a fear-based thing of not being good enough, that you're replaceable, that other people are better than you, that you're not as attractive as other women, that you don't have as nice butt as other women. There's loads of different things that could potentially make you insecure. Then what happens is, because you believe this to be true, you believe you aren't good enough, you believe that you're replaceable, you believe that they could just get someone else. It pushes something out to prove to you that this is true by giving you an experience that makes you think, oh, look, see, I'm replaceable. Oh, look, see, I'm not good enough. Oh, look, see, I don't have his attention. This is why in a lot of cases, third parties do come into play. Another factor, if you've been broken up for a long time, you might just have the assumption that eventually people will move on. And that can obviously, but that's kind of more of like a natural flow of life sort of thing. But hopefully that explains it. I need a drink. We're only halfway through and my throat's really starting to get a bit like
itchy.
My says, I work my self-concept. I'm not anxious and I'm not that into get my SP back anymore. I attract another new SP naturally. This thing makes me realize that I want the first SP, even though it's not an urge. So you attract a new SP naturally, but that makes you realize that you want the original SP. Then just place your focus back on the original. If you've managed to manifest people in, then obviously your self-concept must be doing decently enough. So all it would be a case is just impressing your subconscious mind that you do have this person by affirming, I'm in a loving, committed relationship with XYZ. And then you want to repeat that to yourself and create that as your new assumption. And over time, that will be put into place and you will end up having your person. Angie says, how do I make myself feel chosen? By choosing yourself. So if you're in a situation where you're choosing between your happiness and someone else's, always choose yours. It's one of those weird paradoxical things where it makes you feel like, but if I'm doing this, surely that's going to make it worse because they're not going to like me. But no, that's not the case. So, way back. No, that's not the case. When you choose yourself, you are stating to yourself that you are chosen, which means it gets pushed out even more. Think of it like, what's a good example? I don't know. Think of it like when someone ghosts you, all of a sudden you want them more. That's because they're not putting you on that pedestal, and they're putting themselves on it, and therefore you end up chasing. It's the same sort of thing. So if you put yourself first, that gets pushed out and other people will put you first as a result. So when something comes up that you have to choose between your happiness and your end result or your desires or your feelings over someone else's, always choose yours. Unless you have obviously the ability to choose someone else's without it affecting you. Like, for example, if you have extra money and someone needs something, obviously you can choose to help them. But I mean, something where it puts you in jeopardy, you will choose yours. They choose you. Because a lot of what people do is they think that they have to choose the other person in order to get what they want. And this actually couldn't be further from the truth, unfortunately. And again, this is what I mean. It's a paradox. You need to choose yourself always to be chosen. And that involves everything. For example, and I've used this in other videos, if you are abundant, you will be able to give money away for free without having to worry about it. Because you are able to give this money away for free, what? I thought you were laughing. Because you are able to give this money away for free, you are showing that you're abundant, which means you get more money as a result of being abundant. This is why the broke stay broke, because they have I can't afford to do this mindset, and the rich get richer because they can do whatever the fuck they like with that money and know that it will be coming back. It's the same sort of thing. So to feel chosen, you must choose yourself. You must put you first in spite of how other people feel. Another way of doing it is also to tell yourself that you are chosen. You will affirm that you're chosen, or script visualize about you being chosen, and you will continue to push this into your mind of, I am chosen, I am a priority, I am special, and people pick me first. And you'll really impress this until it changes your sort of assumptions, and things will play out in your reality to prove this is the case to you. But the main thing is, if I was chosen, how would I act? If I was the person that was chosen, how would I react to people doing certain things? Or how would I react when someone puts me in a situation that doesn't make me feel good? I would choose myself. I'm chosen, so I'll just go do what I want to do. Hopefully that helps. Connor Michelle says, thank you both. You're very welcome. Peyton says, manifesting SP. Good luck. Ayesh says, good to see you from 600 to 3,000. Yeah, the channel has done really well. I actually couldn't be more thankful to everyone that shows up weekly, supports us, and has subscribed to the channel. I really, really appreciate it. And you couldn't be here without you all. Top FJS says, I have the ability to conjure up my state. Is this normal common? Conjure up any state, sorry. Is this normal common? If I want money, I'll manually shift into that state and then affirm. I like to think that it makes me special, and the state switch is instant and it feels very real. See, as you become a better manifester, as time goes on, that does become more natural. Like I can sort of do that with some things, not everything. I'll be honest. Some things it does take a little bit of like a push, but money for me is one of those things where I can just like, yep, I'm rich, boom, and then all of a sudden I'll have clients coming to me and stuff.
Do you want another drink?
Yes, please. Can I have water?
Water.
So no, at the beginning stages of manifestation, I wouldn't say that that's common, but as you definitely get better at it, you will find that you don't need techniques anywhere near as much, and you can literally just. Jamie Thornhill says, how long was you guys apart for? Me and my SP have been apart for just over 2 years. I can't wait to be back with my SP. Okay, so we weren't apart for very long, but as I mentioned in my earlier video, my manifestation, earlier on in the stream, my manifestation wasn't to get back together. My manifestation was for us to be back together and in a loving, passionate, healthy relationship, which actually took a little bit longer because we had a bit of a period at the beginning of our reconciliation that wasn't the most comfortable. So it didn't take too long, took about a month and a half in total. But I will say that saying I can't wait to be back with my SP is you being disassociated with being with your SP. We get what we are, not what we want. We get what we like assume to be true for us right now. So if you can't wait to get back with your SP, you will continue to have situations of can't wait to get back with them. So I would advise, if you can, try and switch that assumption to I'm so glad I'm back with them. Change the way that you're viewing it and don't disassociate with already being with them, and you will end up getting them. Sybil says, on the topic of dreams, when I revise a mistake I've made or something I wish I didn't happen, I just say it was a dream, so it's like nothing happened in my reality, just in my mind. That's a good idea. Like I said, I don't think dreams have any validity. So if you were to be able to play any situation off as a dream, then I think that's a good idea. Mai says, do you think you could tell us more about the case of SPs reaching out? If we want to manifest this outcome, why we feel not the situation, then how can we? Sorry, I have to read that in part. Thank you. Water's not very nice after sugary oasis. So Mai says, do you think you can tell us more about the case of SP reaching out? If we want to manifest this outcome, why we feel not this situation, then how can we? I don't fully understand the end part of that, but so to manifest someone reaching out, and obviously I do talk about in my videos that I don't advise you do it, because manifesting them reaching out is a seed. It gets planted, that grows. That doesn't necessarily mean that anything is going to go further than that unless you place focus on the idea that it does, which means you'll have to place another seed of the relationship and another seed and so on and so forth. Whereas if you just place the original seed of the end result, it will be planted and it will grow in its own sort of time. So that's why I always say that I don't think you should, because a lot of people plant the seeds in the middle through desperation of needing a response like now. They need this person back in now sort of thing. But to how to do it, because you've asked that question, impress that you have. So I would advise going from a more loving, abundant state. So I am in loving communication with XYZ, and do it more as just SP reaches out. But you will be like, I am in this loving communication with SP, and you'll really like drill that into your subconscious mind by repeating those affirmations, feeling into it, believing it to be true. And then when you don't feel the need for it anymore, you will stop affirming if you don't feel like it anymore, but you won't check your phone. You will be needing to move forward in that state. And over time, the SP will eventually reach out. That seed will eventually grow, and they will eventually text you. The reason I say to do it in loving communication is because if you just do, my SP texts me, they might text you saying, can you come pick up your stuff from my house? Or they might text you saying, I heard you've been stalking my channel. Can you like get off of it or something? So I highly recommend that you make sure that you are doing it from a loving place. And if you can, try and do it from like a couple's place. So I am in loving communication with SP as a couple or as boyfriend and girlfriend. And they will eventually reach out. Oh, it skipped. Damn it. No. All right, Kat. Chris McQuillan says, I think that's it. Just 2 scripts because I know my worth is reflected by everyone else outside. I think it's with her. It's the story of past behavior and comments that must be replayed. Thanks. Well, hopefully that is the answer, and that'll obviously give you some ideas going forward, hopefully. But yeah, that is quite commonly the reason that when you get other people proving to you that you're like awesome, which I know that you definitely are, Chris. But then that specific person isn't. Usually it is just a little bit of an old story of just like, because I know I'm the shit, and my mum reflects that, Katie reflects that, my colleagues reflect that, my friends reflect that, but my dad doesn't ever seem to want to get involved. And I know that's because I have a story of my dad, of him being a bummy little prick. So it's the version of him that I hold true that stops him from acting the same way that everybody else in my life does. So I completely understand what it's like to have everyone showing you something, but then this specific person not.
She just bit me.
Good. That was a bad idea.
She's gonna try and step on your laptop.
She is.
She's thinking about it.
Punch in the head.
She's thinking about it.
Fandom Geek says, an hour late, just here to say hi. I'm in a very bad position. I want to disregard manifesting, but right now it is not. I want to disregard manifesting, but right now it's not it for me to be here right now. Happy for your 3K. Do we have to stay to win the giveaway? You do not have to stay, Fandom Geek, but you did in fact win. I will be posting a community tab with it on there. I hope everything gets better. Go take some time for yourself. Oh, okay, you said small. Would love to stay and support, but 3D is so shit and my mind is so bad today. I love you both. Take care. It's in the official emoji, like Wikipedia is labeled as prayer hands. Oh, okay, it's prayer hands. That's cool. Aha. I hope everything gets better though, Fandom Geek. You did in fact win, and hopefully that means, well, no, you got the video call, right? Zoom call, yeah. So when we do the next Zoom call, I'll put you on the thing and we can talk about it, and hopefully I can give you some more face-to-face advice and help you get out of your situation. But I really hope you can get better, and I would really appreciate it if other people in this chat were able to drop a little affirmation for Fandom Geek and hope that everything gets better for them. But yeah, thank you for showing up anyway and supporting us despite everything that's going on. Gemma Upton says, you're right, thanks. Oh, I missed someone. Well, I'm glad I'm right. I can't remember what I said. Sorry, Gemma. Top FJS says, can you talk about vision boards? What are they? Are they like your desires drawn on paper? I struggle with deciding what I want, so I think it'd help me. Before we get onto vision boards, Katie makes amazing vision boards, and we do have a service for it. I would highly recommend you check out that service because they are incredible. And if there's anyone in this chat right now that has had a vision board from Katie, please vouch for it because I think they're amazing. But vision boards are essentially something to remind you, kind of like a schedule. If you think about it, like if you had an alarm on your phone saying affirm now, vision boards are that. They're like, I haven't even got my vision board on my phone anymore, do I? No. Okay, I can't even show you mine.
I guess I can bring up one of the more generic ones.
No, it's all right. But basically, they just have little things to show you, like if it's a wedding ring, that when you see that, you can affirm that I'm married. It's kind of like a nice little reminder. And your subconscious mind works very well with pictures. So if you can see a picture and associate it with your life, then it will have a much easier time impressing. And yeah, vision boards overall are just really good at just keeping you on track and giving you something to look at that makes you feel good, especially when they're really well made.
I am actually going to show you one.
Okay.
Not one of the client ones, because obviously the thing with the client ones as well is I've had some people actually send in photos of them and their family and stuff. So they're very specific to that.
Yeah.
But I will just find. So this one, for example, is where is it? Oh, I can't find it now.
While you find that, I'm just going to continue on.
Yeah, hold on, I just found it. So this is about SP, love, and marriage kind of thing, and it's just got don't lick me. It's just got the different sort of reminders. So the marriage, the couples. There's this one here as well with 2 brides, and then there's other ones as well, and they can be sort of just those little sparks in your head, oh yeah, a lot of people put them as their phone backgrounds, because then every time you sort of unlock your phone, you're reminded to think about what it is that what you're after, kind of thing.
The personalized ones, like the service ones, are really well made as well.
Yeah, these obviously have to be very.
They're just generic ones for like topic specific, but yeah, the personalized ones are really, really good. Dion Tyler says, "Hey Matt and Katie, I'm late and I apologize if this was asked before, but in your Manifest Love video, I made a list of my partner before it was I made a list of my partner before it was long, 2-3 pages. Doesn't matter how long the list is. After making the list, are we supposed to read it over since multiple times a week or forget about it?" Okay, so no, it doesn't matter how long the list is. The list is basically just to bring apart what it is that you want in a relationship and what it is that you want in a person. There is no specific amount. There's no minimum amount, maximum amount. It's just whatever is important to you. As for the list itself, I would recommend you read it whenever you want to help you get into the mood of like what your person's going to look like. However, the way that I sort of would do mine if I was to do it again, sort of thing, is I would just affirm odd parts here and there. So if I had like 10 things in the relationship and then 10 things in the looks, I might take a day and I'll affirm maybe 3 of the things for each, and then the next day I might do 3 different ones. But overall, I would just know that what my perfect person would look like, and I would just affirm that I have my perfect person, and I would just visualize people with these characteristics or script about it. But it is mainly just there so you have an idea. It's not so much, if you want to read it over, by all means read it over, but mine was mainly to just know what I wanted so I knew what I was affirming for. Fandom Geek says, "Oh shit, sorry, back, but what's the difference between true and real Sabbath? We'll rewatch for all answers, but try and say goodbye,
Thank
goodbye."
You. TY, thank you. And
I need to start wearing my glasses. What's the difference between true and real Sabbath? I didn't know that there was 2 different versions of the Sabbath. If someone has heard of the true or real Sabbath, could you explain what the differences supposedly are? Abonea says, "Peekaboo, missed me." Haha, you're very, very late though, Abonea. Hope everything's all right on your side.
I was wondering where you were.
Yeah.
Bit rude, really.
Top FJS says, "If I was a boxer, would you recommend I affirm that I am the best fighter and I always win during a fight?" Yeah, absolutely. If that's what your desired end is, then absolutely. Grandpa Turtle says, "I barely remember what SP looks like, or I can't visualize him. When I do, I just hear him in like the dickhead way he used to be." Oh, I see. And it's like him saying, "I love you, but," and I don't know what that is. Okay, well, may I ask? And
is there another one?
Get well soon, Kay. See you now. Okay, so we'll answer this one first. So, may I ask, and there's no judgment from this, but why you're continuing to manifesting that person instead of just going for someone new? Like, there is no judgment, but you barely remember what they look like. And whenever you think of them, all you hear is the way that they disrespected you. And it's like, there's no judgment, but surely you would just have a better time going for someone else and like creating your new perfect person.
Creating the perfect version of them.
Or that, but like they don't remember what he looks like and stuff. So it's like, to me, it just seems like you're holding on to like clutching at straws a little bit. Obviously, if you definitely 100% want them, then don't listen to me. That's absolutely fine. But I just feel like in that situation, you're probably just better off going for someone brand new that will just make you feel the way that this person did without the old story. But obviously, if you don't resonate with that, then that's perfectly fine. You do what you want to do. There wasn't really a question in there, so I can't really, there's not really much to answer. That was just a thing that I wanted to say about it. Dion Tyler says, "Oh, after listening to your answer to a commenter after making the love list, whenever we think about it, love partner, do we supposed to think of already having the person instead of it's coming?" I would recommend that you already have the person, because obviously we get what we are, not what we want, or we get what we have, not what we want. But if it does help you to say that it's coming, if you, on certain days, you might feel a little resistance, it's not going to halt your manifestation. But I would try to advise saying that it's already happened, that you already are with this person. Monica Santos, howdy. It's been a long time.
Hello.
Hi guys, how are you? So nothing is happening. I know that there is always movement behind the scenes, but no front action since last YouTube live. Still persisting though. Okay, so that's a shame. I hope everything starts working out in your favor soon, but try your bestest to not state that nothing's happening, because it's just an affirmation in the opposite. And I know obviously you probably wanted to just update us, but still, just try your best not
No
to
news is
acknowledge
good
it.
news.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm glad you're here. I think, were you here last time? I can't remember. It's yeah,
Our lives have been kind of messed up, haven't
they
they?
have been, yeah. Nina says, just want to say I totally recommend Matt's coaching. He's always there to answer your question and gives good support. Thank you very much, Nina. I really appreciate the little shout out for me there. Didana says, if we see something in the 3D we don't like, do we revise their action, or do we go, okay, I see what I'm being shown, however this is not true because of my desire? I choose the latter because I like to look forward. I don't like to live in the past too much. I know it's changing the past, but I still don't like the idea of looking back. I'd rather just go forward. But it depends on what you would like. If that is affecting you so much that you need to feel like you changed it, then revise it. If you can just look at it and be like, not interested, this is my reality, I'm gonna choose this one, then by all means go with that. So it's more of a personal preference, that one. Grandpa Turtle says, get well soon, Katie.
Thank you.
Let me have a drink before I read these 3 paragraphs. All right, Lily says, yes, that's 100% true. I actually think I've been trying to manifest him for a while. I've had a hard time grasping the concept of living from the end, so I haven't been consciously manifesting him for over a year. Really, I maybe wrote it wrong because it's been a lot of trial and errors on the way. I think I've mostly been trying, at least for a few months in the beginning. Sometimes I still wonder if I do it right, but I know that's my old not good enough beliefs maybe. So I keep reminding myself I am doing everything right, whilst working a lot on self-concept and self-concept, especially my manifesting abilities. Okay, so we've managed to get it down as to why it might have taken so long so far. Obviously, we can't put a timestamp on how long something will come in, so there is that element. But we've at least identified that it doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong now. You know, that like it's just maybe that potentially along the way you were in a bit of state of lack, or you might have like overextended into 3D and things like this. Which means from now, if you are able to continue living in the end effectively, and like really impressing the subconscious mind that this is your experience and being this person, then you can know that it is definitely coming, because movement is always happening. And fortunately, you haven't spent the entire year doing it perfectly. Obviously, you don't need to do it perfectly, but you've spent the entire year kind of learning, which means that you haven't necessarily got another full year because you know what you're doing going ahead. Again, we can't put a timestamp on it, but at least you can take comfort in knowing that you've learned what works for you, and then now going forward, things will work better for you. Grandpa Turtle says, yeah, I've had so many people coming to me as potential partners, but I'm not that interested in them. I think I still do on my XXP, but it's like boring to care that much about something. My SP is a weirdo, so it's like he follows 3 people, and that's why it bothered me a bit. So I get why it's something trivial. Okay, so obviously I just a minute ago asked you why you would want them, considering the things that you said. And if you still want them, you still want them, by all means. I would, okay, first off, I would also just stop referring to them as your ex and stuff. Just say my SP. Just because then it like SP can still like Katie is my SP. That doesn't mean we're broken up. But if I was to say Katie is my ex XP, then that's affirming that. But yeah, so I would recommend working on yourself, at least enough so that like the little trivial things don't bother you as much, and try to change the version of him. And obviously you say you visualize him saying that he loves you, but the old version where he's a bit sarcastic and a bit shitty comes up. Try to change that. Either you could revise that side of him, or just change the we're together and he is the most loving and like caring that he's ever been. Try and change the version that you're holding on to. B. Kivka says, love hearing your cats. Yeah, the fat one's not in yet. Have they ever seen Seth? I don't think Seth's ever been on a video.
No, I don't think he has.
We have
you
a
ever
ginger
met
one.
Seth?
Yeah, we have a ginger
I've definitely explained the story of calling them Seth Rogen.
Yeah, I know
that. But yeah, I don't think they've ever met Seth. He's big, fat ginger, like big, fat ginger boy.
And he's very girly.
And he's also very like spread out. Like, so when he sits down, he's quite compact, and then if he lies down, he's like 6 foot tall.
Yeah,
and he's like really long and yeah, fat and beautiful.
Miss Sternlane says, hey, you two, howdy.
Hey.
How you doing? B Gifka says, no more old story. Exactly. You've got this. Angie says, how do you feel chosen? I did answer this above.
It was the same.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think it just accidentally put twice because that was there when we were talking about the question.
Oh,
That
okay.
comment appeared when we were actually already answering it.
Oh, okay, cool. So I've already.
I think it's just accidentally been put in again.
Okay, cool.
It was from the same person there.
Yeah, Angie, yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so we've done that one. B Kivka says, even if you didn't believe it initially, can you affirm it and it will eventually impress the subconscious mind become real? Yes, absolutely. 90% of what we manifest in our lives, we don't believe in the first place. The first few thoughts that you might have had of like things going wrong with SP, you didn't necessarily believe. They were just old thoughts. You don't necessarily believe that like you're going to stub your toe and then like 2 days later you end up doing it. So it's like, it doesn't always like.
I think as well, when you come up with a new idea, the first thing that you always do is like say something like, oh, I know this sounds crazy, but I
Yeah.
feel like I'm going to do this, or I'm going to go and do this. And everyone's like, oh, really? You know, so when you have a thought that pops into your head of something that you really want, your initial thought normally is like, oh, I know this isn't going to work, but I'm going to go ahead and do this. Like, me starting my Etsy, the first time that I thought about it, I was like, right, this isn't really the best idea. I don't really think it's going to work, blah, 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 blah. But then you actually do it in the end anyway, kind of thing. So I think that you can sort of use that logic. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You don't have to believe it, but
it will happen because every single idea that you ever have, the majority of the time, you don't go, I've had an idea, it's going to work. You go, I've had an idea, it might not work. I'm going to do this, see whether it works. I'll try this and do that sort of thing. So every single idea you've ever had starts as a, I can't do this, but I'm going to.
Yeah. Grandpa Tato says, do you have to affirm out loud? I think it's a bit awkward to be like outside saying things out loud or family material shit. No, not at all. I do mine out loud when I'm alone, and then I do mine in my head when I'm with people.
I do mine out loud just whenever I think of them.
Shradha says, hey, beautiful souls. Howdy, howdy. How do I make myself believe that it's working? I don't obsessively try to manifest something like love or money, but I kind of feel I need a need of it sometimes, while other time I feel normal. Okay, so it's not so much that you don't need to believe it. You don't need to make yourself believe that you're working. You just need to stay consistent and persistent with doing the work, and eventually things will show up. This is extremely key, that it is about doing the work. The faith, the belief, persisting in it is believing in it. Literally just continuing to do so is believing in it. You haven't actually got to believe what you're saying, but if you're continuing to do it, then you believe in it. And then eventually it will happen. Because you say believe that it's working. You haven't got to believe that it's working. You've just got to continue it, and it will show you that it is working. And then as time goes on, things will happen. I don't believe half the shit that I say before I start. Now, I know that it's coming. But when I first started, I didn't believe that I was going to get a job paying the amount that I did. I got the job paying the amount because I was unemployed. It's not even like I went from a job into something better. I'd had 3 jobs within 4 jobs within a year. I got fired at my first job. I quit my second job. I had to leave my third job for personal reasons, and then let go at my 4th job. I literally experienced every kind of fucking version of like leaving a job within a year. I didn't think my resume was going to be good enough. I didn't believe that it was going to be good enough, but I continued to impress my mind with, I work here, I earn this amount, I enjoy this job, I'm a great employee, and it just happened. You haven't got to believe that it's working. You've just got to prove it to yourself by continuing to persist with it. Angie says, thank you for answering. You're very welcome. Momo says, how many affirmations should we say? Saying just one more effective? That's a personal thing. I have usually about anywhere between 2 and 5 that I like to repeat kind of regularly, but some people like more, some people like just having the one. It is entirely personal, and there is no wrong answer. So just do what is comfortable with for you. Nick J says, I know Kivilla says you should have to 80-20 rule when affirming. Do you agree? I 100% agree. And I have advocated this a lot, and I do state that I got it from Kim Velez. I found that Kim Velez's 80-20 thing was the thing that got me my most amount of successes. if I affirm for something specific, I try to actually include self-concept in it. So, for example, a job, I earn £15,000 because I am an incredible coach and people love what I have to offer. That is a self-concept thing, because I'm saying I earn this amount, which is money, but because I'm amazing and because I offer a lot. So I still flipping it into a self-concept thing. But yes, 100%, I do think the 80-20 rule is amazing, because you can get results on everything with self-concept, whereas I can't really get results with money focusing on my person. So I definitely agree. We are now at the second hour, so we're going to announce the next lot of winners. So to start with the 30-day email coaching, you can go ahead. Sorry, 3-day email coaching. Someone almost finessed me there. And it is Miss Music Theatre again. So they win the £10 Amazon voucher and 3-day email coaching. So fair play. I'm going to do next one.
I'm just going to pop that there.
Look how many entrants we had. This is paper.
It is paper.
Paper.
It is paper. New concept. Paper.
Self-concept. And for the to be added to the Zoom call, it is Natty J. Congratulations. And you can do the next one. And this is for the second £10 Amazon voucher. It's this person. So this one, I really hope you keep an eye on my channel, because your YouTube name is just S. So the winner of the
S.
What was this one?
£10 Amazon voucher.
Yeah, so the winner for the £10 Amazon voucher, their YouTube name is just S. So again, I will be placing this on the tab. If you are
it's your
S,
job to find us.
yes, exactly.
Just to clarify.
Oh yeah, also just to confirm, if I don't have a response within 3 days, I will be picking a different person for that. So if S, for example, doesn't respond, I will be picking someone else after 3 days to fill in the £10 Amazon voucher slot. So there is a potential you could still win, even if you haven't won in the stream right today. Let's keep going.
So in 3 days, just to clarify, do you mean like 3 days from now, or
3 days from when I post it? When I'm going to post it immediately after this, and if they don't, 3 days isn't enough time.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, because somebody might say, "Oh my god, you said 3 days, and it's only the 3rd day." You know, do you mean you'll wait till the 4th day?
No, and I make the rules. So if someone said that, I'll be like. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the stream so far. If you have, it would be really nice if you could just let us know. Because we don't really know the feedback of the stream until afterwards. So we kind of sit here talking, like, I really hope they're enjoying it. I hope they're getting good answers. And if you've enjoyed the fact that it's a longer stream, then great, because in the future we'll do longer ones for like other things. And if you've enjoyed the fact that there was a giveaway, I know obviously there's not offering a huge amount, but that's because we're still a small channel. When we're at 30K and all of you are still here,
God, could you imagine the giveaway?
Well, just times it by that amount. So times 10. So it'll be £100 Amazon voucher. So stick around and help out the channel and you'll be getting more. But yeah, so if you could just let us know if you are enjoying the giveaway aspect and if you're enjoying the actual live stream, it just kind of lets us know.
Also, just to clarify, I've said just to clarify a lot now,
Yeah.
but I feel like we should not add an hour for every K that we get, because otherwise we'll be here for days.
No, because we'll get to 100K. We got to do 100 hours.
100 hours. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We should not do that.
Yeah, we should.
No, we should not.
Yeah, we should.
We should not do that.
Yeah, we should.
Just sat here falling asleep.
Marnie Phoenix says, hey, howdy.
Hey.
Hope you're doing all right. Sanrio girl, I think I said that right. I haven't got my glasses. How do I affirm contact with SP? I know this is an old story, but SP has like no socials. We used to speak on Snap, but then he removed me like months ago. I don't know if he still remembers my Snap. This is a good one. I'm glad cats get shit at me. This is why I say to go to the end, because if you're manifesting contact, all you are allowing to happen is contact. And while it can still happen, as in he can still either randomly remember you, you might show up in his recommended or something like that, you are limiting yourself. If you went straight to the end result, you could bump into each other. He could get your contact details from someone, like he could send you an email. You could end up like, I don't know, at a function together. There are infinite possibilities in the way that you guys can reconcile. Whereas the route that you're trying to go, which is contact, is limiting it to contact, which is still possible, but might not happen as fast if you gave it any option. But go on.
No, you carry on.
I was about to do my long explanation.
Oh,
so.
okay. So also the other thing is that you said he has like no socials. We used to speak on Snap, but he might have, forgotten my Snap and everything. You're adding barriers.
Yeah, you're adding assumptions.
You're adding barriers by limiting it to like not only just limiting it to just contact. You're also adding what ifs.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you just live in the very end, you don't have to go, oh, but what if this? Oh, but what if that? You just know that there will be some way of getting from A to B. And you don't have to go, but if he can't remember my step, how will he add me? If he can't, do this, how will we speak? Like it will just, something will happen. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to then add your extra barriers and make yourself more worried or more panicked about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, take the stress away.
Yeah. But to answer your question, you want contact. So I would advise that you affirm for loving contact if that is really what you want. So I am in loving contact with so-and-so. And you will repeat this to yourself and impress yourself that this is true for you. And you will walk forward the rest of your days knowing that you are in loving contact with this person, which means you won't check your phone going, oh, still no message, or desperately checking your phone every 5 minutes to see if they've messaged. You will just go forward knowing that I'm going to check my phone and there will be a message there at some point. And the next time you check your phone, if there isn't one, that doesn't mean it's not working. It just means that they haven't messaged yet. And you just say, yep, I know it's coming. Maybe they're busy right now, for example. But the main thing is to stop putting limitations on yourself, like Katie said, but to continue living in the end and impressing your subconscious mind that this is true for you right now, using your affirmations of I am in loving contact with so-and-so. Missy B says, at Fandom Geek, wishing you a better. B Givka says, at Fandom, you are a great man manifesting, your desire is on its way. Thank you guys so much for supporting Fandom Geek. Sanrio Girl says, also, how do I stop doing strange stalkerish behavior of checking his Spotify to see what he's feeling based on the song he's listening to? Love your channel, wishing you prosperity. Thank you very much for the kind words about your channel, about my channel. Okay, so the first one, and this is going to sound like obviously probably quite pretentious, stop doing it. You have a choice. When you have a choice as to whether or not you do the stalky behavior, when you're doing the stalky behavior, that is you accepting that you are not in your desired end. That is you disassociating your desired end. So when you feel like stalking, before you do, if you can take a couple of seconds, which hopefully you can, hopefully you're not so impulsive you can do it without even noticing, ask yourself, if I was in this loving relationship with communication and the amazing love that I want, would I be stalking? Or would I just be simply letting him live his life knowing that he's on his way back to me, as in back home where I am, or something along those lines? The best way that you can stop is to discipline yourself to stop doing it. I know it's not easy, but that is the only way, is to stop doing it. I would recommend, if you really, really wanted to see what he's listening to, create it in your mind. Affirm that, I checked his Spotify and he's affirming and he's listening to things that show that he's deeply in love with me. Create your own thing, because the only thing that's going to happen until he comes back to you is you're probably going to see something you don't like. And all that this is doing, and this is what a lot of people do when they are looking for the 3D, even though they say that it hurts and they say that they've been doing all the work, a lot of the time people will look at things that hurt them to validate their victim state and to validate the hurt that they feel. Because we get a dopamine spike when we feel pain. This is why when you cry to music, you feel amazing afterwards sometimes, or most of the time, because you get that dopamine spike. This is why people love listening to sad music. It's the dopamine spike. Even though it's a bad thing, your brain still releases the chemical to basically say that this is an addiction, which means when you're looking at the 3D and looking for answers, you're not doing that because you're curious. You're doing that because you are addicted to the feeling. The best way to cut out an addiction is to stop doing it as best you can. And a good way to at least get yourself started with this is to ask yourself, if I was the perfect version of me with the perfect version of him, would I still be doing this weird stalkery behavior? Or would I just be like, yep, he's mine, I'm all good, I'm gonna go live my life? So hopefully that helps. Again, thank you for the nice words about my channel. Marnie Phoenix says, my perfect person is Mason Mount, but I'm hardly going to get him. Well, that's a negative assumption. You don't know that. I don't know who that is, but you don't know that.
I googled it. It's a footballer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, he might be sitting on a football live stream saying, my perfect person is Marnie Phoenix. I'm never going to get her. So never limit yourself.
I think it was a footballer anyway.
I don't know. Jay Dree says, had few wins to say, but then bad things. Is there something you can talk about? What exactly do you want me to talk about? As in, like, how sometimes you can get good things and then sometimes bad things? Or if you could specify more what you want me to talk about, and I will, just because I'm not fully sure what it is that you're after from there. Grandpa Tail says, I have trouble visualizing in general, aside from people that I see every day and speak to directly. Like, I could see a picture and close my eyes and see nothing. I have the same thing. However, it does not matter. You know what the scene is implying. You know what you're experiencing in that scene. Even if you don't like visually see something, it is a mental image that you are aware of. I am on a date with my specific person, or I am at a wedding with my specific person. You don't necessarily need to actually see what it is, but you can like know what it is. It's that inner knowing. Hen says, hi, Matthew. Howdy, howdy. Maureen Patel says, I want to start this job I got, but the 3D hurdle is that I need the degree. But in my imagination, I visualized the degree already, so I should start already having it, right? Yeah, it will play out. If you are impressing your subconscious mind that you already have this degree or that you already have this job, I would go for the job because that's the actual end result. It will play out. There will be bridges of incidences to get you from point A to point B where you have this job. So yeah, continue to impress, continue to visualize, continue to tell yourself that you are already working for this company and it will all play out. Remember to occupy the person who already has that job. Hen says, what about bullies in the 3D? Do you revise it happening to you in the 3D with your mind's eye? I mean, you can revise it. Revising it is one thing. Whatever it is that is bullying you is something that you can swap out. So if they bully you because you, I don't know, are a geek, just as an example, you could affirm that people admire your whatever it is that makes someone a geek. I don't even know what a geek is. It's just a word that I've heard as an insult. But you could swap whatever it is that they're bullying you for to be a good thing. So people actually admire those factors about you. Or you can set 3D boundaries, which is putting yourself first. I know it's going to sound ridiculous. No one wants to do this. But honestly, standing up to bullies is probably one of the best things that you can do to a bully, because it's standing up for yourself. It's putting yourself first and it's saying, I am not taking this shit. So from a self-concept point of view, you're putting yourself first and you say that you're worthy of being more than being bullied. And 9 times out of 10, bullies will leave you alone. You might get the shit kicked out of you in that moment, but the more that you do it, the better it'll get. I'm also speaking from experience of never being bullied, so I don't really know. But
you've never been bullied.
Why would I? I'm a god. I'm joking. I was so pretentious.
Steph, come here. You've never been on live. Come here.
No, I was taking a piss there, but no, I've never been bullied. I've obviously had people like make rumors or joke about me, but I've never been like officially bullied.
I was bullied solidly all the way through every school, right up until I got to college.
I know that everybody that I've ever met personally that stood up to a bully always,
this is the big fat boy,
always ends up going well in their favor.
He's not impressed. Okay.
I would probably stop holding him
no,
then.
he's just nervous. Oh, but look how big and fat and long he is. See?
Only pause.
Do you want to get down? Sorry, Seth. Anyway, now you've met him.
But yeah, you can revise it if you'd like to, or put 3D boundaries in place, which I think is a very good idea, or change whatever it is that they're bullying you for into a positive thing, and then love that part of you.
But don't change yourself though. That's not what you mean. You don't mean change you.
No, just change the way that you see it.
The way that it's perceived.
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
Yeah. So if they don't like you because you wear glasses, then you just say that like people admire your glasses and they love them. Or just as an example. Marnie Phoenix says, how can I manifest my daughter sleeping through the night? I would affirm that you managed to get a full night's sleep because your daughter sleeps through the night. Just stuff like that.
Also, when you're with like the other mums and they're all chatting and everyone's like, oh my God, little Frank kept me up all night. Don't join in. Don't join in with the gossip. I don't know why I thought of the name Frank, but you know, like when people, like other mums are like, oh, I got 3 hours sleep because so and so, woke up and did this and threw up and did that and la la la. Like, yeah, don't join in with like the chit chat. Don't like just literally even lie like directly to them. Be like, I got 10 hours sleep. Just honestly,
I woke up and she had made me breakfast.
like, yeah. I mean, I definitely did that with the youngest, because there was a phase where she was waking up all night, every night, and then I just started going, no, she doesn't. No, she don't wake up. She never wakes up in
She
like,
doesn't wake
she
up.
never wakes up. No, she don't wake up in the night. She never wakes up in the night. I'm, getting all the sleep I need, and yeah, I even told her, I was like, you're not doing that anymore. You don't do that anymore, and yeah, worked.
Over time.
Yeah.
B Givka says, I really like it, the content and the coaches. Thanks. Really appreciate that. Hen says, thank you. You're very welcome. Sanrio Girl says, this guy is like online. I don't know if I'd be comfortable meeting him yet. Okay. I can see why there's the limitation then. Then yeah, just go for the communication. Did I answer your communication? I think I still gave, didn't I? Because I was just like, but if you're really adamant. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think I should have answered this. If I haven't, by all means, just put it below and I'll answer it again. B Givka says, have a great day, everyone. I got to go. Great live today. Thank you very much for showing up, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Nina says, I sent an email, but maybe others will also benefit from me asking this. What is the void state, and will it help manifesting? I saw the void state meditation recommended to me by YouTube. Oh my God, a ginger baby. Love ginger cats. Sorry, all caps. I don't know what the void state is. I tend to keep it very simple. If you go back in my videography or whatever it's called, my content list, I don't do many particular I think I've referred to the Sabbath state, and yeah, I don't really talk about many of these random states because I don't think it's necessary. I think they are probably things that you get into, but I think it is very much just figure out what you want, create statements or imaginary scenes that imply it, dwell in these until you know it's done, then live as this new person. All of these random Sabbath state, void state, all of that state, God state, I think they're just extra words.
Permanently God state.
Yeah, I think they're just extra words to just get extra clicks. Explain to me what the void state is, and I'll talk about it based on what my opinion would be. But I don't know what it is. And yeah, the ginger cat, I love Seth. At the moment, he's probably becoming one of my favorite cats.
He's very snuggly.
He is, and he's very loud. He didn't really say anything then, but usually he's like constantly like.
He doesn't like the light. I think that's the problem. That's why he was like. He also doesn't like people, so maybe he knew you was all watching.
Kiati says, what to do when SP is giving out hot and cold behavior, even when I'm focusing on self-concept and working on myself? Is persisting the only solution for this? Yes. So unfortunately, there's a bit of a misconception that once you change your assumptions, things will immediately change. Things can change immediately, but it isn't a rule. That would be an exception. It is just a case of not reacting to what you're experiencing and keep going, loving yourself and putting yourself first, and things will change over time. Doesn't necessarily mean it will be next year, but the more that you put in the work on yourself, the more things will change over time. And yeah, and obviously changing the version of him. So stop seeing him as hot and cold and start seeing him as loving, passionate, all over you and all those kind of things. And he will start to show that too. Remember to align your self-concept with your version of the other person. Hen says, I am a nerd though, but that's fine. Like, I
He's a very big nerd.
I actually am. I was about to say that.
I feel like we kind of are, both of us.
Yes.
Like last night, we spent most of the night playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, we had like a Yu-Gi-Oh.
Like we got the whole deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And I posted on my Instagram story the Egyptian god cards and stuff. And oh God, I'm getting so old.
You are so old. What are you getting?
As soon as this live is open, this is for. As soon as this live's ended, this is a birthday present for the eldest because his birthday's in like a week or so. Oh my God, it'll get stuck on the blanket. And I am well excited to open this. it's a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that we can add to our dueling. So we're big old nerds too, and look how successful we are. So the fact that you're a nerd is not a bad thing whatsoever, and we absolutely advocate it. And if need be, I will come down and poke them in the eye.
I do feel like though nerds are becoming more popular than when we was in school.
Oh yeah, it's definitely way big, more accepted, and they've run the world. They absolutely run the world.
Like sort of like alternatives as well are becoming a lot more popular.
They were always quite popular in my years.
Were they? I was like the only one from my year.
Maybe you just didn't do it
and
right.
Everyone was like, "Oh, you're an emo."
Maybe it's because you were the only ones who stood out. In mine, there was a fair few, but yeah, I think it's cool to be a nerd. I'd much rather be the nerd than a boring ass fucking Chad. You know, like I'd rather have a personality and be able to be a bit goofy and like love games and films and shit than be someone that's like football. If you enjoy football on this stream, I'm not laughing at you, but you know the kind of people that I'm talking about.
The same as like what are they called? Gym guys. What's the name for them?
There's gym bros, gym rats. Yeah, gym bros, gym rats.
Yeah. They're just plain nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing going on.
Same outfits, all got the same beanie, all got the same headphones, and then they're just there.
The one thing I will say about gym rats, though, 90% of gym rats are only gym rats because they had their heart absolutely annihilated.
No, I'm not talking about like proper gym goers, the ones that.
Like, oh, you mean like the really cringy ones?
Like the ones that stand there and do absolutely nothing.
They do like the Ziz pose and all that.
And
kind
then
of
like
stuff.
they just stand there, and you're like waiting to use the machine, and they're just stood there, and then their friend does like 2 lifts, and then they're done, and then they stand there, and you're like, can I just please?
We just offended like everyone.
Yeah,
not everyone, but like.
I don't feel like any of them are into manifesting, so I don't think they've got much going on.
See, and everyone thought I was the mean one.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm very mean. Sorry, don't care. I'm just annoyed, to be honest, because they just stand up, take an equipment, and they don't actually use it. That's what irritates me. That's the type of gym person I don't like. The ones that just like they're just on their phone, and you're like, please do something. If you're gonna block people from using it, just do something on there. You know.
I'm gonna tell you guys about my day before I go on the questions real quick. So basically, I have a very, very, very attractive male friend called Tristan, and he invited me to his gym. So he has a kid, and at this gym they have like a babysitting sort of section, and so he signed up for it. And he was like, they have a guest pass. So I went with him today. We did a chest, shoulders, and tries session. It was like 2 hours long. It was sick. But this gym has a spa, sauna, steam room, cold plunge, everything. So after we did the gym, we went and had like a proper lunch. He bought it all for me and everything, which is really kind of him. Thank you, Tristan, if you're watching this. And then we went and got into the sauna, which I've never been in a sauna before. That was an experience. That was really nice. And then we did the cold plunge immediately after. It was nice, but it was not fun. Like it was like, oh, so cold. And then we went and sat in the jacuzzi for ages. And then we went in the steam room, and then like we left, and it was like such a great day. Like it was just one of those things where it was just like I felt so fucking good afterwards. It was unbelievable. Being able to work out, and then like because obviously saunas like open your pores, and the cold plunge cleanses them, and I felt amazing. And this is what I mean when I say that you guys should be really like looking after yourself. This is obviously this is the first time that I've done it, but it's this kind of stuff. Treat yourself. Go do the things that you enjoy. And go make yourself feel amazing. And
it doesn't have to be like quite that extravagant.
No,
either. Like.
But we are going to be doing this once a month.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like little face masks.
Yeah, but just stuff like that.
Your favorite cup of tea.
And honestly, I don't know if you guys notice it. You probably don't, because I'm usually quite decent at hiding it. But I do have a lot of things on my shoulders. Obviously, I have this business to run. Clients like constantly blowing up my emails. I've just dropped days at work. I have a full-time job, 2 kids, a partner, try to go gym. I have a lot of stresses, but honestly, as soon as I lay down in that jacuzzi, and the same thing with Tristan, just everything just melted away. It was almost like there was nothing to worry about. That is what I mean when I say to let go. That feeling of just, it's all good. Nothing can stop me. I am all good. That's what I aim for you guys to do. That's what I always talk about. Obviously, I know that like you don't necessarily have to go to a spa every single week, but I have a similar thing when I go to the gym or when I really get engrossed in my business and stuff. It's the same sort of let go of the outside world and just engross in what you're doing now. But I just wanted to rub in my day a little bit. Amitesh says, hey, you guys, congratulations on 3K subs. More love to you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the support. Hen says, thank you so much for answering. You're very welcome. Thanks, love. I'm not sure your girlfriend's name. Her name is Katie, or Kate,
Or cat.
or Cat.
Any of that sort of, but not Kate.
Amatesh says, also, don't know if you've been going to the gym, but those shoulders are popping out, man. Thanks. I did shoulders today, so that's probably why. But thank you for the compliment. I feel a little bubbly now. Jay Dree says, you're helping many. Thank you. You're very, very welcome. Thank you for showing up. Nina says, okay, got it. I'll try to read more about it. Thanks, Matt and Katie. You're very welcome. If that was about the void state, apologies, I couldn't help more. But I also don't want to just make stuff up. So I'll have to do a bit of research, and I'll see if I can bring it into the next stream maybe. Matt Schwartz says, void is just TikTok trending shit. It's like sats static into sleep. People always need something new to get some clicks. Yeah, actually, I agree with that. There is always new things being created in order to, and unfortunately, this actually stems in like a lot of like the reasons why a lot of people struggle with manifesting, because they always think that there's something new to be done, when actually, like I said, it's very simple. Get clear on your result, create statements or scenes that imply it's already true, really impress your mind by repeating those to be true to you, and be the person that like would be in that case. And that's all you have to do until it comes in. But yeah, I do agree that like at the moment, manifestation is just something new every fucking week, I swear. Sanrio says, did you say to not put limitations and just affirm that he has messaged me and he knows exactly how to message me and that he really likes me or something? It's getting quite late. Thanks for staying up, guys. I hope you get enough rest. Just in case you watch this replay, yeah, don't put limitations on yourself. Go to your end result and just assume that to have already happened. If you start saying he messaged me on Snapchat, it means that you have to wait for him to message you on Snapchat, which might take longer than if you were to say he messaged me, because he might message you on WhatsApp or Messenger or Facebook. So
send you a letter.
Or send you a letter, yeah. Right. So don't put limitations. Go straight to your end result.
Reply to a comment on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, exactly. Go straight to your end result and affirm that to be true, and it will happen. Kiati says, well, I know it's weird, but I have this constant thought that if I don't focus on my work and upgrading my skills, then I won't be getting my desires. What should I do for this? Well, that's an assumption in itself. And obviously, if that is your assumption, then it will be true for you. So you will have to obviously be doing that. But there is nothing wrong with doing that anyway. I still upgrade my stuff. I'm still looking at like courses on how to be a better coach to improve, because everything can always be improved. No matter how good you are, you can always improve at anything anyway. So you might as well just make that an assumption that works for you, that make this, instead of making the assumption that you have to upgrade your skills, otherwise you won't get it, just make the assumption that by upgrading your skills, you get a better version of it. So it's still the same thing if you really wanted to continue going that route. But
or if you don't want to have to continuously upgrade your skills over and over again, you could change it to when I feel inspired to do so, you know, upgrading my skills helps. You don't want to say anything that means that you will only get it by upgrading your skills. So like it helps it along the way, but you could change it to when you feel inspired to do so, because I think it is very important to continue working on things, changing things. Like I've just rebranded my whole thing, like the whole lot. And like, I do think it's very important, but I also think that it's very important not to think that you continuously have to do stuff all the time, because all you'll do is make yourself ill, make yourself stressed, and you will put that sort of limiting belief that you will never be good enough. And you don't want that. You don't want to feel like you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this over and over again, because you will make yourself not just like mentally ill, but like physically ill and like run down and stressed. Like I have a chest infection because I was stressing out so much, and I had a standard viral infection that then has turned into a different, do you know what I mean, where it's just you run down and you're stressed and you're like continuously putting pressure on yourself. I think it's very much, you know, change it so that when you're inspired, because it is still important to do, it is still very important to do, it just doesn't have to be day in day out all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Sanrio Girl says, it's getting quite late. Thanks for staying up, guys. I hope you get enough rest. Thank you very much, and same goes for you. Have a good rest of your night. Grandpa Turtle says, do you have any show recommendations? Moon Knight. I thought Moon Knight was really fun.
That was good.
Final Space is a adult animation. I thought that was quite good. I asked about it for show recommendations generally. Stranger Things, I think, but that's obviously quite a common one.
I mean, there's loads.
I have a few animes. I don't know if you're an anime fan. I can recommend a bunch of animes, but I don't really watch shows very much. I only watch them with Katie, really.
Yeah, they are an anime fan.
How do you know that?
That's No Face from Spirited Away.
Okay, so for animes, obviously Tokyo Ghoul's just the OG. Well, it's not the OG, but you know what I mean. It's a good one. Parasite, really good. One Punch Man, again, everyone knows that one. Seraph of the End, I thought was really good. Katie kind of got bored watching it. Akame ga Kill, very good. I've seen loads, and now my mind has just gone completely blank. Elfen Lied, I really liked.
I'm trying to think of like other shows.
I can't remember what it's called, but it was basically Attack on Trains. So you know Attack on Titan, which is obviously a good anime. It was basically a train version of that, and I can't remember what it was called, but that was really good. Yeah. If you think of anything, you can just put them in after. Hen says for real, lol, and thanks, Katie. Sanrio Girl says then would be kind of scary if he had my number or email me because I didn't give him that. Yeah, but you never know. The universe can make random things happen.
They could have, like bumped into someone who does know you in real life on a forum, like an online forum, and they're like, oh, I'm trying to find this girl. Her username was something like this, and they're like, oh my god, I do know that person, and then
yeah, there is options. Kiati says, I don't know why, but I feel anxious when my SP is with third party and I start panicking. What should I do? What should one do in this situation? It's just all fine, but when I see their Insta story, I get a sudden anxiety. Why not mute their account? That's like a way to review remove triggers and stuff, is by muting the account. So you're not unfollowing or anything, but you just don't see notifications and stuff and see their stories and stuff. Maybe try not watching them as well. But the other thing is you only get sudden anxiety because that is reflecting something within yourself. There is something about that third party that you are fearing. You feel like, what's the word? Not triggered. There's something, yeah, you're fearing something. You feel threatened by this third party for some reason. I would recommend you find the reason why you feel threatened and then work on shifting that so you are creating the better version of it. So if you feel like they're replacing you with this third party, then you would change it to you are irreplaceable. And then you continue to dwell in that and create that as your new assumption so that you don't be replaced. And the only reason you'd have any kind of anxiety or fear over a third party is if you feel like they are something that you're not, or they have something that you're not, that you don't. And yeah, swap it from there. Grandpa Tail says, yeah, I love anime. And then, yeah, same. I've been watching anime since I was like 4. That's cool. I haven't really been watching anime too long. I mainly only watch the ones that my friend recommends to me. And then I've watched a couple on my own. But yeah, he's watched loads. I'm looking forward to the next season of Dragon Ball, to be fair. I haven't watched any Dragon Ball animes, but I've seen all the films, but I watched like a big chunk of the Tournament of Power, and I thought, that looks kind of cool, so I'll watch the next season. Oh, no, you said, so I've just rinsed a bunch of shows now. Yeah. Well, hopefully we give you some recommendations. Lady R says, hey, Katie and Matt, sorry I'm only joining now. It's fine. You still got about 28 minutes until we head off anyway, so if you've got any questions, by all means, put them in. J. Dree said, sorry, my point was I've had a few good things happen, but then bad after. I wanted to know if there is a balance or something. Good versus bad. Great. Greed can hurt. So a lot of, I don't know if this is true for you, so I'm just going to make a generalization. A lot of people do have the assumption that, like, oh yeah, please. Can I have a Pepsi?
Yeah.
A lot of people, yes, please. A lot of people have the assumption that things can't go well for too long because of the way that the 3D has built us up, like with our assumption as kids and stuff like that we've been given. That does happen where when things start to go well, some people do fear that it's about to go bad. Another thing is when you start getting good, the same thing happens. It may not be as much of a hidden assumption. You might just be looking for like, oh, well, when's something going to happen? The other thing is maybe a potentially mixed focus. So you'll be focusing on good things, good things, good things, and then you'll kind of drop that focus, and then you might start dwelling on some bad things, and it creates bad things. I personally don't believe that there is a balance. I don't believe just because you've received a couple of good things, you now have to receive bad things to balance it out. I believe that is only the case if you have a sort of either like assumption / focus on things that aren't quite all in favor. Like sometimes you're like, oh, typical that my car would break down, or typical that like things cost more than they should, or something. I don't know what kind of assumption you have, but you know what I mean. Like there's a potential that your focus isn't all on good, and good things have happened, which is great. But then because you aren't focusing entirely on good things, some bad things are still potentially playing out. Just an example. Obviously, I'm not in your head, so I'm not fully sure, but that's a common thing that I've found. But yeah, while we wait, Lydia is talking about how challenging dating is contradicting one's manifestation for new love. I would say it is in a way, because if you're talking about how challenging dating is, then that means that you're at least going to have a challenging time while dating, because it's an assumption, which doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to get your manifestation of the new love, but it might mean that while manifesting your new love, it might be a little bit more of a rough road than you would like it to be, because you're creating the assumption that dating isn't too easy. Basically, if it's something negative, I would try to avoid engaging in it to any extent if you can. I know it's not always possible, but if it's anything negative or someone complaining or bitching or being in a victim state, if you can avoid talking about it with them, I would definitely try to do so, just because then you don't run the risk of potentially creating more and accidentally creating a bit of an assumption for yourself or some circumstances that are less than desirable. But obviously not every situation can be simply walked away from, but if you are in a situation where you have to talk like that, maybe try to keep it to a minimum if you can. says, guess what I managed to manifest? Living in my dream city, thankful to your videos. Oh, that's great. I'm really happy for you. Very well done. What city is it? Just because no one else asked us any questions, so let's have a little more chit chats. But what city is it that you're in? We are actually, sorry, just going to put a thing up. I'm going to be updating the website very soon. I did a couple of hours of work on it yesterday, and then out of nowhere, poof, all disappeared. So I'm going to be finishing that off tomorrow and uploading it. There's going to be adjustments to services. I'm going to be adding some services, kind of. Well, no, definitely. I'll be doing video call coaching very soon, as of Monday. Slots are available. So if you're interested in video call coaching, there isn't anything on the website right now, but drop me a message and we can sort out times and stuff and we can discuss it. But yes, there's a bunch of stuff changing to the website soon. When I've updated it, I will post it for everyone to see on the community tab. Kiati says, is self-concept enough to put yourself on a pedestal? Yes, that is what self-concept is. Self-concept is putting yourself on the pedestal. You're seeing yourself. And I've made a couple of jokes in this video, but they're not far off from being jokes. When I've made stuff like I'm God, obviously I'm not that pretentious, but I definitely do see myself as a high value individual. I do see myself as being able to handle pretty much any task given to me. I see myself as being able to attract whatever I want into my life and having a lot going for me. That is being put on the pedestal, and that comes from self-concept work. Obviously, yes, I was making jokes about being God, but essentially, yes, you do want to actually see yourself as a godlike person. You don't want to be seeing yourself as having any flaws. I know this might sound a bit ego-y, but that's kind of what it is. But yeah, self-concept is enough for that. says, Manchester, I'm so fucking happy. Oh, I'm really happy for you. I have never been to Manchester, but that's cool. Well done. Good job. B. Givka says, you don't have to answer. I've got answers today already. Do I still affirm if I feel upset about the actual thing I'm upset about? Sometimes I just take a step away because it's too painful. I would recommend you taking a step away. Yeah. I'd recommend that you take a few deep breaths and you center yourself and you bring yourself to the current moment, console yourself and be like, it's all good. I'm still going to get what I want, or things are still great, but you don't have to affirm if you don't want to. If you want to just lay it to rest for a bit, I would advise you do so, just because you don't want to force it. You want it to be natural for you. You want it to be comfortable. If you're forcing yourself, that forcing comes from a disassociation with having your desire. says, I can feel that soon I'll be with SP. Well, that's great. I'm really glad that you'll be with SP soon. I can't wait to hear your success story. What's that?
The mouse was on my eye
Oh.
on the screen and it was annoying me.
Sanrio Girl says, that's quite creative, the forum idea. I like it. So what I want is going to happen no matter.
Yeah, literally, there is.
Forum.
Yeah, so I said he might bump into somebody on a
Oh,
forum
yeah.
that you know in real life, and then they pass on your details and la la la.
Mm.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Like when you choose a very specific way that something is going to happen, you take away thousands of opportunities, literally thousands of opportunities of other ways that it can happen. So when you're like, oh, this will happen because of this, you're taking away like literally like whatever you can think of could possibly happen. He could find your at written on a piece of paper on the floor. Like, do you know what I mean? It's crazy, but like you're taking away any possibility of anything else happening when you choose one specific way of something happening, which is why it's good to be like open, completely open to, I want this, I'm going to get this, it's going to come to me, however it will, in the easiest way possible.
Rogan's about to pounce Seth. She's bailed. But their full thing is, that's quite a creative forum idea. I like it. So what I want is going to happen no matter how the universe decides it to come along. Absolutely. I would hope my mutuals don't give out my information that easily. Yeah, but if the universe makes them do it, then you can't really blame them.
I mean, they might come to you and be like, hey, this random person called blah, blah, blah has just asked me what your at is. And then you'd be like, oh my God, it's him. He's found me.
Exactly. And then you can come back to our next stream and be like, it worked. And it will be like, yeah, of course it did.
Told you.
The universe knows what's going on. Emma says, can you talk about how 3P is created in our reality? My phone stopped working earlier, so I didn't see if you answered earlier. I did, but I'll answer again because that's absolutely fine. Third parties are usually created by a self-concept plot hole, basically. So 9 times out of 10, the feeling of not being good enough, not being worthy, being replaceable, not being the priority, being second place, all of these kind of self-beliefs usually are what creates a third party. Because the universe puts out there, or the self-conscious, whatever you choose to like call it, reflects to you what you believe to be true. So if you don't believe that you're worthy, if you don't believe you're chosen, and all of those things I just listed, it gives you a situation to prove to you that that is your experience. I don't feel worthy. Well, let me give you something that makes you feel unworthy, and then it shows it to you in result of a third party. So 9 times out of 10, third parties come into play when you don't feel like you are chosen, when you feel like you're replaceable, or that other people just aren't interested in you and would prefer someone else, that maybe you're not attractive enough. It all comes from a self-concept plot, which means that you can easily remove them by working on that same self-concept hole. Lady R says, I now think that everything works out for me and that people go out of their way to help me, and the 3D world is showing me exactly that. This is encouraging me on my manifestation journey. That's a really good assumption to have, and yeah, definitely it will do. The more, obviously, even the little results can definitely help fuel you for the bigger ones. So I'm really happy that you've got that assumption in place. AH says, do you guys both still affirm for a good relationship even when you both are happily together?
Yeah.
No, no, I don't need to. It's a natural assumption now. We do still have our bickers and like normal couple stuff, but it's become a natural assumption that our relationship is a lot better. When like things weren't great, yes, I was affirming them, but now it's kind of got to a point where it's like, don't need to, but she does, because I'm a lone wolf and she needs to keep me wrapped in chains.
Right. Yeah.
They're not going to see it's going to be backwards. Yeah, I have lone wolf written. LONEWOLF. Doesn't really help, but I just wanted to point out what fingers it was on. But yeah, no, I don't affirm for it anymore. Every now and then I might do like a little bit, but it's not like a religious thing anymore.
So I script.
What are you talking here for a wee?
Yeah, I script while I'm at work, and yeah, I like to just have one, literally just one in there. I work only like 3 days a week, so I don't do it all the time, like a lot, if that makes sense. But yeah, I never know what to say. As soon as he goes, I just sit here like. But yeah, so I just have one. So my sort of like every day that I'm at work, the scripting that I write is basically that today has been a like a really good day. work went really quickly today because obviously I don't want to be there for very long. The kids have had a really good day. Matt has had a really good day. I think the cats are fighting. What are you doing? Yeah, like Matt's had a really good day. I've had a really good day, and then just throw one in there like we're really good. We're enjoying life. I go into a lot more detail, but sorry, one of our cats is going absolutely mental. Oh, she's just found her tail. It's yours. It's attached to you. I haven't seen her do that in so long. She just went absolutely mental at her. Right? Oh, she's going for it again. It's on your body. Oh, she's knocking stuff over. I'm giving them a running commentary of everything that's going on with the cat. Rogan just went absolutely mental at her own tail. She's livid. She's fuming. She's just yeah, I didn't read any more comments. I was just rambling about my scripting and how I love you more because I write it down, but you don't.
Wow. All right. Thanks, chat. Got me in trouble. Okay, so Kiati says, I really feel positive listening to you guys, and your coaching has helped me become a better version of myself. Thanks a lot, and I hope to share my success story very soon. Glad the coaching has helped, and I'm glad the live stream has helped. And yes, I definitely know that you have it in you to create an amazing life. Definitely.
That's a really lovely comment as well.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear that we make people feel positive.
Yes.
That's like really
absolutely
nice.
But yeah, I know that you'll be coming back with a success story very soon. Every email I can see it slightly clicking each time, so I know that you got this. Emma says, how exactly do you improve your self-concept? I need some tips of routine. So a good exercise that I think is like worthwhile checking out is, and I have a video on it, and I might, while I'm like slowly rambling, I will find the video to put in. But an exercise that I think is extremely good for working on your self-concept is to get 5 people that are important to you, and one of which being yourself. So I suppose 4 other than you. So this could be your parents, this could be your colleagues, this could be your SP, this could be basically just 4 other than you people that are important to you. And what you're going to want to do then is write out one thing that you want each one of them to see you as the most important thing. So for your parents, it could be that you want them to see you as, that you want them to be proud of you. For your,
that's a great thumbnail.
I know. For your SP, it could be that they love you. For and most importantly, yourself, how would you want yourself to be? Like the biggest thing that you would want yourself to be. And then now that you've got these 5 people, 5 like affirmations, you then want to start to repeat them to yourself. So I've just put the link in the thing in the comment section just in case you want to check out the actual video. But yeah, so it could be I am proud of myself. So this covers the parents being proud. I love myself and prioritize myself. This could be you wanting your SP to love you and prioritize you. Your career, your colleagues could be like, you want them to think that you're the light in their life. So I bring joy to those around me. And you'll work on these like 5 things, and you'll start trying to get them to see you the way that you wish you will start to see yourself the way you wish they would want to see you. And I think that's a really good exercise, and it's a very simple way to work on self-concept because it at least gives you a bit of a starting point. AH says, that's amazing because I thought you'd always need to affirm, but I guess it will be in your subconscious mind. Yes, absolutely. This is what an assumption is. It originally starts off as a disbelief, but you continuously impress that in your mind by saying, this is true for me, this is true for me. Then you'll start having evidence that it's true for you. And then when you have more evidence that it's true for you, you'll start to be like, oh, this is actually true for me quite a lot. And then eventually it'll turn into, actually, this is true for me. Like, this is my new assumption. This is my new belief. When it becomes that point, it's just natural to happen. Woman Mindset says, what imaginary acts did you both manifest each other? Okay, so I'll answer the first one. Imaginary acts are scenes that imply that you already have your thing. So let's say that you want to be married. Your imaginary act could be you marrying your person. It could be you're on a honeymoon with your person. It could be you like wedding shopping, wedding dress shopping. It could be like those kind of things. They are imaginary scenes that imply that you already have your desire. As for did you manifest each other, I wasn't consciously using manifestation when we first met. However, when we broke up, I did consciously manifest her back I don't know about what she does, but she does affirmations for us now. So I suppose at the current moment in time, she is manifesting me. So did you have anything you wanted to add to that, or?
I didn't know about manifestation at all.
Yeah, we didn't really discuss manifestation really until after we'd got back together the first time. So I suppose from that perspective, no, it would have been me consciously, but she obviously does her scripts and stuff
I
now.
had like lots of like thoughts before meeting him about finding the love of my life and all of that kind of thing. Why are you doing that? I'm gonna be quiet now.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. See, kids, don't do drugs. I don't know. AH says, you're so beautiful, Matthew. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Nash says, you're so beautiful, Katie.
Thank you.
AH says, laugh my ass off. Why do cats like doing that? Because they're crack fiends. They really are.
They're
absolutely
crazy.
Yeah. I
Like,
think
she just attacked a bag. I thought they were fighting each other. I was like, oh no,
No,
cats
it's
are fighting.
fighting my
and
bag.
She was having a fight with the bag, and then she was having a fight with the tail, and then yeah.
My mum just sent a message saying, love you all.
No, don't.
All right. I'm not going to say what I just put to my mum, but yeah. Sanrio Girl says, weird story. At one point, there was a 3P, but I didn't care about her at all. Then, like 2 weeks later, he was telling me about how this girl was a weirdo and he doesn't want anything to do with her. Why is it that sometimes someone likes you and you don't like them, but like when they don't like you, you like them? And then I'll get on to the next bit in a second. I should probably respond to my mum before.
I know, I feel like that was a bit mean. just ask if she's alright.
No, it's fine. Okay, so the reason being is an attachment style. So when you don't want them, it's very easy for you to be like, yeah, I am loved, blah, blah, blah. And like very easy to see yourself on the pedestal, which is why people then treat you that way, because you haven't got that kind of emotional attachment to them. But when you want them, you've now kind of placed them on the pedestal, which kind of puts them out of, like, puts them above you a little bit. And then,
oh, sorry.
Move the table. It kind of puts you above them a little bit, because now you're saying you're good enough to have my attention. But then that can sometimes morph into actually, I kind of really need your attention. And then that need for their attention is what then pushes them away, because you get what you are. So if you need their attention, and that's the state you're in, you're going to get more of needing their attention. So this is why when you're not interested, it's very easy to manifest someone in, because your self-concept just completely takes over and you don't have this, oh, this person's above me kind of thing. But when you are interested, usually you can end up getting a bit too invested. And I just needed to respond to my mother. And then Sanrio Girl says, yes, Katie, you're so gorgeous. Oh my God. See, you get flattering compliments when you come to my live streams.
I'm going to blush in a minute and
Yeah.
get all awkward and leave. Thank you.
AH says, you know what? I hate being in no contact with my SP, and I know I'm the reason why it's that way, because I don't forget the old story or the 3D. Yeah, well, at least you know now. Like, at least you've come to the conclusion, it's my fault for XYZ, and then going forward, you can change this. It may suck, but it's the first step to change. It's a great place to be. Woman Mindset says, how long did it take you to manifest it back into your life? Manifesting her back, it didn't take very long. Manifesting the relationship to be what I want, because getting Katie back was not the end result. The end result was being in a loving, passionate relationship with Katie. That took about a month and a half in total, give or take. So I don't count getting her back as my end result. So I don't ever really answer it that way, because that's not what the manifestation was. That was one of the steps of the manifestation. When I say that the bridge of incidents will play out and the steps will happen, getting Katie back was only a step. It wasn't the end result. Kiati says, so when I'm affirming for a better relationship with SP, should I contact them or should I wait for them to contact me? I would advise you wait. And the reason being, and obviously I know other people haven't really seen your story too much, but being a client, I would recommend, based on what you've told me and stuff, that you owe it to yourself to be pursued. You owe it to yourself to prove to yourself that you are worthy of them. If you were to contact them first after sort of everything that's been going on, that would indicate to me that you are still in need of their validation. It's about time that you started accepting your power and how awesome you are, and sit back and say, you're coming to me this time. So that would be my recommendation. And take it from me, You do not need to be in contact or be the first person to reach out to get your desire. I am living proof of that with Katie. And yeah, I don't message anyone ever, really, and people message me. So people can message you without you needing to message them first. So it's all okay. Don't worry about it. We got like 7 minutes left, 6 minutes left. If anybody else has any other questions, now's the time. Thank you all so much for showing up to this live stream, and especially if there's anyone in here that's been here from the beginning all the way up until the end, then you are a trooper, and thank you very much for supporting us. Lady R says, are statements like "I can't wait for" useful? It depends, because "I can't wait for" implies that you don't have it, and I know obviously logically within the linear timescale it would make sense, but your subconscious mind will always take that as "I can't wait for," which means every day will be another day that you can't wait for it. So it's not the best in my opinion, but it depends, because obviously if, like, for example, you've got a holiday booked, saying "I can't wait for the holiday" doesn't mean that you're not going to get the holiday. I just find that once, like, before something is set in stone, saying "I can't wait for" isn't the best. But if it helps you kind of like move past this, like, oh, I can't wait for it, like, I don't know, share the rest of my life for a loving boyfriend, doesn't really imply that you don't have this loving boyfriend now. So if you can kind of get away with the wording of it, then I would advise, like, I'd say that it's probably okay, but I wouldn't really advise stuff that doesn't imply that you don't have it now, unless you feel particularly down about it and you just need a bit of a pick me up, in which case you're probably okay to use it, but I wouldn't make it your main affirmation. Woman Mindset says, I missed the beginning of your live. Oh, it's okay. It'll go get posted after this. And if you wanted to, you can go back and watch it. It was a 3-hour, 3K subscriber special live. And I'm not looking forward to the 4K.
Doing 4 hours.
I'm getting very tired.
We are not doing 4 hours.
We are. I'll do it on my own. I'm a trooper. Oh. But
it might just be because I'm ill though, to be fair. But I like have a nose and eye headache.
I also have a nose.
A nose. I have a nose. But yeah, you know, like when you have a headache right here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it might just be because I'm ill, but
maybe.
Or it might be the really bright circle light.
Yeah, I know. It gets too much after a while, doesn't it?
Turn it off. We just sit in the dark. It's fine.
Nadine McGregor says, is any kind of movement you get from SP good? I've been affirming for a relationship with them. It hasn't happened yet. Please stop saying that it hasn't happened yet. That part, they have been spending a lot more time with me though. Yeah, any movement is good movement. It doesn't necessarily, it can happen instantly. Like, he can wake up tomorrow and be like, you're my girlfriend now. But it doesn't always happen instantly. But if it's something that shows along the right lines, then that's obviously a good thing. And you should definitely see it as a good thing. If it's something that makes you a bit happy, even if it's not the full result, but in that moment it makes you happy, see it as a good thing. But yeah, stop saying that it's not happened yet. Stop it. Toy car. Because it's just affirming that it's not happened yet. Woman Mindset says, thanks guys, I'm sure you'll blow out on YouTube. That would be really nice, because I enjoy the streams. We're getting more and more people, which means we're helping more and more people. It's a bit of a self-concept thing that I need to work on, I'm not going to lie, but I do worry sometimes that, like, my answers aren't the best in the streams. So it's really nice to see that people show up week after week and are, like, really supportive and everything. So so yeah, it's nice to hear things like you're going to blow up, because then obviously clearly shows that people appreciate the content. So thank you very much. Are you a channel of your own? Because your name is Woman Mindset. If you do, then check it out, and put a link and I'll check out, and if I can post it on a community tab, because I've tried to help other creators. I've posted other people's YouTube channels and stuff, and I definitely think, depending on, like, if you actually are a channel, I definitely think a lot of the people here could probably do with some more, like, woman mindset advice as well, because I help out the guys from a guy mindset, because I believe that we should be like high value men and certain things that we should do, but I can't really talk for females. So if you're a woman's mindset channel, then put the link in and I can share it so that more people can find you. Because that's what I've done. I do that with everyone's channel. Everyone that I know, I'll put them on my thing to try and advocate everyone's growth, so we can help each other out in more than just advice. I can actually help you, as in help your channels grow and stuff. I'll still do the same whether we're 30K or 300K. If there's someone that's got a channel that I like the look of, I'll put it on there and help out as best I can.
Do you know what?
What?
We have nearly got through 3 whole hours of live.
I know.
Without horoscopes coming up.
Oh, so glad the live stream's about to end. No. Missy B says that's why it's great when Katie is here. Yeah, absolutely. And that is why she is here. But she refuses to do her own videos. I keep trying to push her to do videos for you guys, but she won't. She's too shy.
I might try. I'll do a short.
I feel like you should become a mindset, like a female's mindset. So like self-improvement, but for females. So if you don't want to do LOA, you should do female self-improvement. And then I can use you to post once a week so that I don't have to post on a video. But yeah. All right. Well, we are in the final minutes. So we are going to do the final pause of this. So for the email coaching, oh, someone fell out, but I saw who it was. And it was, they've already won the email coaching.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to do the email coaching for the first one. So the final winner of the email coaching is someone that's already won the email coaching, so they're not getting it. So I'm not giving them 6 days. Ashtown Love wins the 3-day email coaching. Woo! That's a name I recognize quite a lot.
Do you know what I completely forgot? Oh, don't worry, actually.
What?
I'll just do it on the next one.
What is it?
Something I was going to do. You have already won that one.
Oh,
Do you want to pop them back in for the next one?
I will do that.
Yeah.
Oh, as in, yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So the Zoom call. Chris McQuillan.
Hey, Chris,
Yay!
you can show it to the. I'll give you the link for this next Zoom call. That's cool. I'm glad he won, and I'm glad Ashtown Love won actually as well. To be fair, I'm glad all the winners won, but there's just like regular names that like interact. And for the final Amazon voucher,
Are you doing it?
did you want to do it? I mean, I've already pulled
You've
it now.
pulled it now.
Chris, you also win the Amazon voucher as well. So that's a win-win. All right, so let me just get these last few comments out of the way, and then I will be heading off. So Grandpa Turtle says, sometimes I just hope for something, then I get it. Like, is that a thing? Yeah, like even hoping for something is still thinking of it. Like when you hope for something, the thing still comes to mind, you know? And that is enough sometimes to impress. The only issue with hoping is when it becomes a need for it, you know? A wanting is fine. It's like I can't live without this. That's when it's a problem. But Chris McQuillan says, I love the bummy little prick comment. Cheered me up. Oh, what did I say?
Dad.
Oh, yeah. He's an absolute fucking butt nugget. But yeah, Chris, you won the Zoom call and the Amazon voucher. So if you drop me a message, I could drop you a message. I don't mind either way. We can sort all of that out. And that's super, super exciting. And Ashtown Love says, oh my God, I was affirming to win. This is so exciting. Well, I'm glad you won. See, there we got a success story. Right. Thank you, everyone, for showing up to this live stream. I will be posting the community thing for anyone that missed it to say that they have or haven't. Well, I would say who hasn't won because that's a long list. But for the people who have won, I really hope you've enjoyed the 3-hour live stream. I really hope you enjoyed the giveaway. On the next 4K, like I will probably do another giveaway of some kind, and I'll do my best to make it even better. There will be some changes going to the website, as in some new services going. There's actually a service being removed. There's price changes, bonus changes. So like some of the other services will have extra things added to them. Basically just trying to make my services as good for you as I possibly can. I was supposed to have it live today, but like I said, the website yesterday like kind of crashed somewhat and I lost all my work. So I now have to redo it. So that will be going live soon. When it goes live, I'll let you guys all know. Thank you everyone for showing up to this, and I will catch you in the next one. Boy. Now we awkwardly turn off the stream.
Dance while we do it.